Luck. What's up, bro?
What's up with you, brother?
Shit,
Doing
thanks
all
for
right?
joining me on the first episode, man.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you having me, man.
Hell yeah. Well, shit, last time I saw you, man, was on the live stream. You telling me about the zeolite stuff for the heavy metal detox, which
Hell
that's
yeah.
pretty crazy because for like the last month before that, I've been sending my lady links and shit, and I'm real picky. Like I'm not just gonna see an ad for a detox and be like, all right, hell yeah, and grab it. Like I do
Right.
a lot of research, so I hadn't quite found one that I was sure on yet. But I was trying to find like a parasite cleanse and a heavy metal detox because a lot of people don't know, but like over 70% of countries in the world do yearly parasite cleanses, and we're one of the few that doesn't.
Yup. The
And
deworming.
fucking, you know what I mean? Like everybody's like, oh, I ain't got tapeworms. Like there's a lot of shit that sometimes you won't even really have signs. You don't know
Right.
till you feel better all of a sudden.
Yup.
But yeah, man, shout out to you, bro, on that because fucking, I
Hell yeah.
just got it today. It was actually pretty crazy. It come in the mail
Hell yeah.
right before we started the episode, but
That's what's
I'm
up, man.
excited to try it, bro. Pure
I'm glad you
body.
did.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to try it for sure. I've never done a heavy metal detox, so I feel like it's gonna make a big difference. I mean, I've done like activated charcoal a few times, and I eat a lot of Rick Simpson oil. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that probably helps a little bit, but I don't really know the research on that one. You know?
Right. Man, that's
But
important. Like you said, the deworming. I think they do it twice a year, every 6 months, right? You know what you said? Every
yep.
6 months. Um, Same thing with schizophrenia being the what is it? The fucking brain parasite. Every schizophrenic patient has this T. gondii parasite in their brain. Not
Have you
everybody
seen
has.
that? Have you seen that like verifiable evidence? Like every one of them for sure? Because I've
Yeah,
like heard that and seen some shit, but never dug into it. So like,
you
I don't
you
want to
can
be like, I don't want to like have you
right.
say every single one, and then someone, you know, what I mean, we
Well,
got,
no,
they gonna fact check us.
well, that's the thing. Every single person that has T. gondii is not necessarily schizophrenic, but every schizophrenic has the parasite. That's the thing
Gotcha.
with it. From all the stuff that I've looked, uh, routes I've went down and stuff like that. It's not every single one is schizophrenic, but every schizophrenic has it. So, and that's the one that comes from cat shit, cat poop and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's pretty telling. And the fact that, we're a host parasites, like if, the thing about
Is it,
controlling your perception, your emotion, the type of food cravings you have, even sexual cravings, stuff like that can be controlled by parasites, which is fucking crazy. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
see,
So,
I honestly hadn't gotten that deep into it. Mine was just like my own health issues, which are more physical than mental. You know what I mean? Like
right.
gut problems, shit like that. So that's how I kind of got down that rabbit hole and discovered it and figured out that a lot of my problems are probably caused by heavy metals and parasites. So
Man, we're exposed to so much shit, not to mention all the stuff
right.
they're spraying us with, the food,
I mean, yeah, you got chemtrails, GMOs,
yeah,
fucking
the water. I
shit.
mean,
You know, fluoride in the water, man. That shit's insane, bro.
fillings and
Let's
shit
give
go
you
through the thing.
a known neurotoxin
Yeah,
that was studied by the Nazis and that they gave excessively to the people that they had in the concentration camps.
that causes apathy and brittle bones and everything
It,
else.
it also causes you to be docile and less
Yep.
resistant to authority.
Apathy and
It
calcifies
calcifies your pineal gland. Yep.
yep, steals your imagination literally. Like your pineal gland is like how you have your mind's eye. Your visualizer, like how you can manifest things by visualizing them and stuff like that. Being able to have a vision. If it steals your vision, then what? You're just a shell, right?
Walking around like a
Yeah.
lot of people are, unfortunately, man.
Yep. The seat of the soul, man.
And that's the thing too. That's the unfortunate dark side of like a grant, because we all know, like everybody who's in tune with that shit can feel that humanity is waking up. A lot
Mm-hmm.
more people are becoming aware, and the overall consciousness of the human race is being elevated.
Right.
But the dark side of that, I guess not dark, but the reality of that a lot of people don't like to address. They like to have this illusion that everybody's going to become enlightened and we'll just have a better world. And the reality of that is, man, I mean, there's some people that, whether they die from old age or not, I'm not wishing death on anybody. There's some people that are never going to be able to come around and see the truth and wake up. And
Right.
some of it might even be right down to, it might even not be cognitive dissonance where they're refusing it. Some of it might be shit like fluoride, where they're not physically able to
Right.
operate on that level of consciousness. You know what I mean? So Man, it's the thing no one likes to talk about. Like you're not without certain people that are never going to be able to be a part of that world. It's not going to come about. I think it's going to be a couple generations. I
Yeah,
think
and then
my
all the
kids
stuff.
be kind of like the generation to usher it in. You know, our job is to teach them.
Yeah,
They kind of usher it in, and by the time it's my grandkids, shit should be looking better at least.
yeah.
You
Was
know.
it the whole analogy of strong men create easy times, easy times create weak men create hard
Yeah.
times create strong men. So it's that whole cycle. And I think we're in that weak men cycle that have created the hard times, and the hard
Yeah, I
times are
think.
creating the strong men.
Yeah, that's what we're in that transition right now. The weak
Yep,
men have created hard times, and now you have a mix of weak
yep.
men and strong men that are coming out of the hard times that the weak little
It's
bitches created.
that fucking what is it? Visica
Venn
Pisces.
diagram.
Yeah, exactly. The Venn
Yeah,
diagram. And dude, it's especially with the shots and all this shit, and I mean, it's attack
yeah.
on our DNA, bro.
Well, it's
We
all part
talked,
of Agenda 21.
yeah, we talked about the purple lights, black lights and all that stuff, and last time about how that ties in. Man, I mean, there's so much shit
What'd
that
you
is
find
like
on that, actually? Because I didn't have time to look into that one. I remember we talked.
I
I've
haven't
noticed
looked
them
into
now.
more.
Every time I'm out riding, dude, I'll see them. Be like, I'm like trying to close my eyes, going under them and shit. Like,
Right.
fuck this. They're up to some bullshit. I know it.
I mean, I wonder if we're good since we don't have that in us. You know what I mean? If that only
Yeah,
affects if it's something that's in there, whether it be like the luciferase or something, because that's the shit that I think. What is it? Luciferase is the stuff that glows. There's so much shit. That's the thing. Is like I used to spend fucking day after day just going down rabbit holes, and and then a few years back I said, where your attention goes, energy flows, right? So if I'm
right.
always looking at all these different, this is a
Exactly.
problem and this is a problem, and then wonder why my life seems a little chaotic versus focusing on the good parts of life and things like that. So
It's manifestation. It's positivity. You
yeah,
know, a lot of people preach positivity and try to act like it on social media and put on this front and all that, but they don't
yeah,
actually have a positive mindset. And that's, I think, a big problem is a lot of people are seeking that, but they
yeah,
don't know how to get to it. They think they're just going to wake up from reading a quote or watching a fucking documentary and
mhm,
overnight they're going to be a positive, happy person. Like, you have
right,
to choose every day to find the positive shit. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah,
I'm not one to sit here and talk about, oh, you know, when I like hard shit and blah blah blah, like fuck all that. But
right,
from how I grew up and shit that happened, I learned at a young age that the only way to not be fucking depressed as shit all the time and just wallowing in my fucking problems was to
right,
find something positive. So I trained my brain. I'm fortunate. I don't even know what made me do it. It was just maybe a defense mechanism, but I trained my
right,
brain early that no matter what, to try to seek something positive. That doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna find something positive in everything, but you should at least try to find something positive. Like, I
dude.
mean,
That's the
shit,
most
bro. Like my
important thing,
family's house burned down. You know what I mean? I lost
right,
everything. Had two pairs of clothes and a shotgun and shit like that in my truck
right.
that lasted. But the positive side of that was I was 19 years old, still living in my parents' house, and that's what got me out, and I never went back. Got my own
Right.
place after that. So it's like there's something positive in everything.
There's always the discomfort to spur the growth. You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
get
for sure.
comfortable and all that. I mean, that's why the same type of mindset. That's what I think separates so many people is that so many people they have a problem for every solution, whereas my mindset is trying to find a solution for every problem. But if you're gonna when you deal with those types of people, you're gonna bump heads because every solution that you offer, they'll find another problem with it, and it's
Exactly.
just draining, man. Because it's like you're sitting here like your computer's going trying to fix it, and theirs is going
Right.
trying to continue breaking
Fuck
it.
it up.
Yeah,
Yep.
man, and that's
Yeah,
what
man.
makes the breaks. I mean, that's when my life changed because I was in and out of jail and prison, and I got on heavy drugs at 14, and I mean, I
Yeah.
went through hell, bro, and all the things I went through. I was an immigrant, came here when I was 5 and got jumped and pissed on and all this shit at 5 years old and all
Wait,
that shit.
where'd you immigrate from?
I was born in Germany. I came here in
Okay.
'89. Yeah,
I do remember you telling me that, but I couldn't
yeah.
remember. I remember you telling me you immigrated, but I couldn't remember the country. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and being 5 years old, and all these 8, 9 year olds were 10 year olds at the bus stop circling me and jumping me and pissing and spitting on me, calling me Nazi and dirty germ and all this shit. So that I'm thankful for it because like you were talking about the whole victim mind state, it's like I shook that shit early because for a long time it was a lot of self sabotage, for most of my
Yep.
life. drugs
Same.
and all that shit with self-sabotage and self-hate and all that stuff. And but all that stuff made me more resilient. You know, that's why like every challenge I always kind of rose up in those times instead of letting it beat me
I
down. You
think
know?
I think that's what makes or breaks people with that is you have
Yeah.
two different types of people. You have the type of people that go through that kind of stuff and become more resilient. That's crazy you said resilience too, because that's honestly one of my favorite fucking words.
Hell yeah.
And
You
like
already know.
yeah, like you know how like a lot of people do like you what's one word you use to describe yourself? I always say
Right.
resilient. But
Resilient. Yeah.
you get some people who fall back into it and oh my trauma and
Yeah.
it's because of my trauma and all of this and blame everything on that. They're always the victim and you know I mean it's
Mhm.
crazy as hell and that shit just snowballs and escalates because society has got to this point where they enable the victim mentality.
Yep.
So you have these
Exactly.
people out here running around going poor me and they get convinced that they actually are the victim when all they need to do is fucking grow the fuck up and get
Right.
control of your fucking life. Like it's not that hard. Like everybody goes through shit. That's the thing. Like everybody wants a lot of people have this outlook of like they're going through the hardest shit and everybody should have sympathy for it. People
Right.
like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, once you have the realization that 95% of people on earth go through hell at some
Yeah.
point in their life, you're like,
Right.
oh shit, no one really cares. Everybody's dealing with their own shit. Like I'm sure you got close homies and shit like that, but at the end of the day, no one dramatically cares. It's not
Right.
affecting their life. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's
The,
wild.
the,
It almost becomes more of a conversation point with people who just want attention too. Like they just
yep.
sit there and
That's what I was gonna say.
compare traumas. Like, no, it ain't a trauma. You just it's fucking life, dog. Quit being a
Yep.
bitch about it. Like that's how I look at it. Like,
The victim mentality absolves them of any responsibility though, because as long as you're a victim of something, then you don't have to do any work to change it.
exactly.
You know, it's well, it's not me. It's
Exactly.
oh, it's these conditions. You know, and that's the same. Like I don't know, man. I feel like if you never went through challenges, you would just be a fat blob on the couch that didn't do anything. Like the challenge is what shakes you up and makes you grow. It makes you you can find a lesson in every single challenge. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
every single thing that happens to me, I look at it like, okay, what can I gain from it? What can I
Shit,
gain
my
from
bad.
it?
Click
You
the
know,
button
not,
on accident.
but it's every challenge is like, what can I gain for, not challenge, situation or, life throwing me something, even if in the moment it's kicking my ass, it's like, while I'm in it or, as soon as I start to come out it, I'm like, what did I learn from it? What did I gain from it? Because there's always something that will help you grow if you look for it, and there's
Exactly.
a reason for it all. It's a spiritual side to every physical thing is my viewpoint is just as much spiritual as it is physical,
Yeah, and I think
being able to
that's
see it.
where a lot of at least my generation, you know, I mean, I'm not super in touch with like when you say this generation, usually I feel like that applies to like the early 20-year-olds, whatever the hell, you know.
Right.
But you said something about spirituality. That's what it was. So
Oh yeah.
this
Spiritual
generation,
side.
I feel like has a lot of trouble with that concept because like I grew up in the church and for a long time I rejected God because of the church and
Yep.
religion. You know what I mean? Like
Same.
I just recently, like this year, started referring to the force or whatever you want to call it as God again, because for a long time I had a weird thing about it where
Right.
I was like, I call it the universe or the force. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was the same
And
way, bro.
I had a conversation with, you know, Smo, shout out Smo. And basically it come down to like, well, if you're calling it the universe, you know, he says, ask him my name. We got to like, well, it's not actually his name is God, it's something else, all that. Well, and then it's like, well, why is it such a big deal?
Radio station.
What name you refer to this entity as long as you're tapped in with that entity, you know that it's the creator and you know that it's like I look at it as it does, you know, a lot of people see like God as an old man in the sky. Like I'm
Right.
looking at it as a fifth dimensional, non-physical entity that's all loving and omnipotent. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which perfectly, if you actually study the Bible, perfectly fits it. So I feel like this generation struggles a lot with that whole thing of religion and spirituality, where like the people who are into spirituality shun the Bible and shun religion and all that. Well, I don't like religion either, so I'm not going to defend that. But they shun the Bible and these teachings that tie into what they believe without realizing that there's a correlation and it's different paths to getting to the same
Right.
destination. You know what I mean? So you got the people over here that are like, oh, the universe and spirituality, you're a fucking witch. That's Satanism. And then you got, the religious freaks, and then you got the people over here that are like, yeah, the religion is evil and all this other shit, and fuck the Bible. And it's like, hold up, just because the
See,
church is evil and twisted up and fucked up, don't mean there ain't some shit in that book that you can
right.
learn from. You know what I mean? Like, so I
That's
feel like that's a huge thing. Like, bridging that gap is going to be important because you have two sides of people who are both trying to be good people
right.
and raise their consciousness and become a more enlightened human being, and they don't agree with each other just because of the path to getting there. And I think that's fucking insane.
That's why I think tying kind of some of those things together is, we tend to base our, before we actually get to know God, when we're still believing in God versus knowing God, we tend to base our perception of God or off of religion and other people, the pastor that talks about him, or the people that gave him a bad name, or people are going to
Exactly.
let you down every time. God
Exactly.
won't. And I went through the same thing. It was like, well, that's not his name, and this and this and all this stuff. I do feel like I get it because I say the one, the universe, the ether, the
Yeah, I
breath.
always said the
Like,
force.
yeah, I
I
mean,
like the force because if you look into it, George Lucas was actually like, that was a lot of that. He was basically talking about God. Like, a
but
lot
see,
of
I'd
that
say
was
source
very
is kind of
elusive.
right.
Or yeah, and is that what I say, George Lucas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Force, like the Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, but there's a lot of illusion, like in symbology in those movies too, in the early ones especially.
Oh, it's about
And
Horus. It's all about the Luke Skywalker, the 12
yep,
steps across the sky, and all that stuff. Yeah,
man.
there's
So
a
you know
lot of
about that
symbology.
too? Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah, man. But with off of that, like what you were saying about knowing the right name, that's important because if you're calling on an entity, we're in this spectrum of frequency where we only have this little sliver. We've got this little sliver that our five senses pick up. Cats, snakes, all these other things can see other realms around us because they're operating on a different frequency. But everything is literally like it's a radio, and whatever station you tune to, you're going to pick up that you're tuned to that frequency. So if you're calling on
Manifestation.
some other entity, and it doesn't matter, it's the same. You might be tapping into a station that is not the station you want to be tapping into.
Well,
You know,
did you know the Catholic Church, I don't want to misquote the century, but in one of them, like 13th, 14th, 15th century, something like that, I believe it was under Constantine,
yeah,
they went in and they took God's name out of the Bible, changed
right.
everything. And the one thing that they added in there is God was referred to as God before. It's just very unspecific. You know what I mean?
The eyeball, the
But
father.
right, but they added Lord.
Yeah,
This
yep.
God had never been
That's
referred to as
nope,
Lord before. And if you do research,
exactly
when you pray to the Lord, you are not praying to God. It's not the
right.
same fucking person. You pretty much praying to the devil, dog. And a lot of
Yep.
people don't realize that. Like that, those words are important. So like,
I just got up on that like about a couple weeks
yeah,
ago, man. Where and even God was questioned. They say, it's
that's one of the gray area ones. Yeah,
exactly, it's the gray area. That's why I'm like, well, I mean, it's so ingrained in all of us. It's like, so we're all wrong. We're all just talking to demons instead of
right.
But as far as the Lord thing, it makes a lot of sense, and the Lord of Darkness, or Spirit
Well,
of Darkness and all that.
and when I started, well, that's the other thing too. Is like the Bible says that God is the King of Kings. So what's a Lord is under a king. A lordship
Right,
is lesser than a king. So why would you call him a Lord? He's not a Lord. He's
right.
supposed to be King of Kings. So that
So
don't make
false,
sense in and
false
of
idol,
itself.
right?
But the other thing too is that like I started watching, and like the crazy like Pentecostal motherfuckers that are clearly, if they're not faking it, like you can tell some are faking,
All those,
and some are like possessed. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Well, the ones
they're
that look
going
like they're possessed, if you pay attention, bro, every
right.
one of them doesn't say God or Jesus once. They are calling on the name of the Lord the entire time. And they're doing all this crazy ass demonic looking shit saying it's
Yeah,
Christian. And I'm just over here like, damn, bro, you just like got possessed by Satan or one of his minions. Hell yeah, good job.
man. See all the denomination stuff too. It's like I feel like that's more ways for the church to
Divide and
divide
conquer.
people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Versus all worshiping the same God, the same Father. The one that is the breath in our lungs and the beat in our heart.
Yeah.
It's we all have the same Creator, but yet it's like split it, the whole Tower of Babel kind of thing. Split it, shatter it, and have it in all these pieces. It's not the Tower of Babel because that was by God, but I mean the
Right.
church's version of it to kind of scatter because I think the Catholic Church
Makes sense.
I think the Catholic Church, bro, there's okay, back to like the what is it, astrology and all this stuff. This is where I feel like, okay, if God is the creator of heavens and the earth, why would he create something and then be like, don't touch, that's evil? You know what I mean? When
Right.
yet those things are so accurate that like even in the Bible, in the word, it says, there will be signs in the heavens when
Yep.
the time, well, if you're not looking because you're like, it's evil, I can't look at the stars or study the stars, then how are you going to see those signs in the heavens? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the church, the Catholic Church, took a lot of things and swapped the whole, with Constantine the Great during the fall and the Roman Empire and all that stuff, and
Yep.
the pagan rituals with Catholicism.
Yeah,
And
that's where we got like the Christmas tree that was Asherah, and the
right,
Easter bunny was the goddess of
yep,
fertility, and
yep,
they basically combined the Catholic Church and the pagan rituals.
Eshtar or whatever. Yeah, exactly. The rituals and the
Yeah,
different things.
Ashtar, that was the other one.
Yeah. Have you heard the thing about first of the year? Because really, the first of the year, we celebrate as and January 1st, but yet that's when everything is still dead, right? Like you're
Right.
not growing,
It's
things haven't
supposed to
come
be
out
in
of.
spring. Yeah.
Yeah. At April 1st, and it's funny because April 1st is April Fool's Day, and they like the inversion,
They
of
fooled
everything.
everybody. Oh shit.
Exactly.
See, that's some of
Exactly.
that. That's some of that satanic shit, bro. Because those
Yep.
motherfuckers believe that they have what do they call it? Karmic absolution. So they
Yeah.
basically absolves them of any bad karma if they warn us and tell us. And basically, it's looked at as like if you tell them through symbology and they're not smart enough to pick up on it, that's on
Exactly.
them, and you're absolved from anything you do. So they can do whatever they want after that.
Right.
It's
The
fucking
revelation
crazy,
of the
bro. Like,
method.
and that's
Revelation of
another
the.
problem with religion too. Is like I wouldn't know that if I hadn't I didn't like study Satanism, you know what I mean? But I
Right.
wanted to know. I'm like, what are these motherfuckers on? Why are they doing this shit? You know what I mean? So I wanted to understand it. And religion shuns that. They basically tell you this is the word of God. Don't read any other books. If you do, you're going to hell. You know
Right.
what I mean? And then, but then if you read the Bible, it tells you that you should understand your enemy. You should understand these people who are worshiping false gods so that you don't follow in their footsteps.
Exactly. How are
You know
you
what I
going to
mean?
know
I'm like,
light if you don't know darkness? And like
exactly.
that's where my path as a kid, I was very into that. I was very much considered myself a Satanist. I did all the rituals and all this. I guess, coming at it from a lot more naive thing, but I definitely had something in me that I allowed in that, had me um, had my life be chaotic. You know what I mean? I mean, it was
I
me not
never,
doing it. It was like a spirit that was upon me that I allowed in when I was doing all these type rituals and stuff. And
yeah.
I'm telling you, like when I finally in that jail cell, talked to God and all this stuff, man. Like I'm telling you, I felt like a night and day difference when I prayed and I was reading the Loose That Man and Let Him Go, the T.D. Jakes book. I was in isolation for a month, and I had a lot of time to read and do all this, and I literally felt something like come out me. You know what I mean? Like pull loose, and night and day difference. Like feeling like a weight has been lifted.
Damn.
So
That's what's up,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. So I mean, I feel like we allow certain things in, certain energies or entities with our ignorance of. I mean, I was a kid, so I thought it was more like shit to play with instead of the seriousness of it that I see now. But I had that understanding now to
Yeah,
be
see,
able to.
I think instinctively I always knew not to fuck with any of that shit. So like I had an atheist phase, definitely.
Right.
But and that was only a couple years. And even during that, I still knew that there was a higher power. I just wasn't willing to acknowledge what it was. It was more denial than
Yep.
anything.
Yep.
But luckily I never went left. I just kind of was like straight away from right, you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, mine was all rebellion. It was like, rebel against everything
I
that was
rebel against everything, just not quite like that, you know what I
all
mean?
right.
Different
Yeah.
form.
No. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I know I went through it for a reason, and I think going through that allows me to see a lot more of the stuff that a lot of people might not see. That exactly. Being able to have that knowledge of those things to be able to see the deception or see the certain rituals or see things that people think is it's just, oh, it's some innocent shit. No, that's a ritual. You're not seeing what they're
Exactly,
doing. You
bro.
know.
So I quit watching mainstream. I don't like mainstream music anyways, but
Right.
like for a while I would watch it more to laugh or to point shit out to my old lady, and or to like compare it to independent music and be like, this is why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it got to the point, dude, where like even knowing that it was brainwashing, ritualistic, subliminal messaging, I felt like it was still having a negative effect on me.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'm watching it, knowing that that's what it is, looking for the signs and
Exactly.
going, "Hot, look at that! They're trying to program you right there." And it's like the
Exactly.
programming isn't working, but it's creating a negative energy.
Yeah.
So I just quit watching that shit, bro. Like they pop on the new music video on CMT, and I'm like, what happened to country music? Why is this dude doing satanic shit in his country music video?
Man,
Like,
all
what the
wide out in
fuck?
the open, ain't it? Shit,
Yeah,
man.
it's wild as hell, man. That's
Man,
like,
the
so you're
motherfucker.
from Nashville, so like, tell us about your experience living in Nashville with that, because from the outside looking in, I can personally see the transformation in Nashville and how there's a fight for basically whether Nashville is going to be good or evil. It's a constant battle. I can see that from the outside, but I'd
Yeah,
like to hear your perspective living there, because I'm sure it's a
well,
lot different.
yeah, I mean that's exactly like you said. It's kind of this battle because I felt like we were kind of out of the way of a lot of the BS that you see on the news and all this shit. I try not to focus on them as much anyway. I don't watch the news, but I mean as
I
far
don't
as like
watch it at all anymore.
yeah,
I get
exactly.
my news from Joe Rogan
Social,
and
yeah,
like,
social media
so
shit.
yeah, well, not, I don't want to say that because that's a dangerous territory, because there's a lot of people that see a social media post and go, oh, hell yeah, and just
Well,
believe
yeah,
it. I'm the kind of
discernment
person that I
obviously.
see shit on social media. If it sparks my interest, I'll go look into it and see
Yep,
if it's real.
exactly.
So
That's
I wouldn't
we're on
I
the
wouldn't
same
say I
page.
get my news from social media, but I get my pointers on where to look from social media. And then from Joe Rogan, bro. Like I watch Joe Rogan, and at some point they're gonna talk about current events and what happened, you know what I mean?
Right. Well,
Even
when I
whether
say
it's a
social media,
comedian or whoever he's got up there.
I don't necessarily mean like going just seeing a meme or a Facebook post. I mean as far as like YouTube, I have certain like journalists and things that I watch, or like you said, Joe
Yeah,
Rogan,
YouTube's a really good one.
Colbert Report, not Steve Colbert, Corbett Report. He's been doing shit for a minute. The Days of Noah, Corbett Report, all these other things that kind of tie in like all the craziness that we're seeing. But yeah, definitely got to do your own research and have discernment. But I felt like we were away out of the way of a lot of that shit in Nashville for a long time, just because you know we we still had that like root system, you know what I mean? But then with all this mass influx, I'm seeing this pull. It's kind of like a split. It's like we're almost turning into one of these like fucking woke places in Nashville, but yet there's still like that grip of old
The
fashioned
good old
values.
boy still
Kind of
got a hold, bro. I mean,
yeah,
shit, you got Upchurch down there, and he ain't the only one.
right,
They're
right.
fighting for it, you know.
Man, they're trying. There's a pull. There's definitely a pull, and that's why you see like a lot of this Hollywood shit is now here. All these people from LA and stuff moved to Nashville. You're seeing
And you can see it
world.
in country music.
Yeah, yeah,
Country music has become Hollywood.
dude. The places too. We have whole production centers like fucking multi-acre compounds called Worldwide
Different
Stages in
studios
Columbia.
and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have like I mean it's literally like a mini Hollywood stages. All these different production things and
that's
stuff.
crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that and then there's other like things opening up out Whites Creek area and stuff that ties in. I mean, you got all these. Candace Owens lives here. Fucking Sean Ryan lives here. I mean, you got all these big time names and stuff that all came from out west Texas and Cali, and
Right.
so there's a mix of good and bad with it, but I hope the good keeps winning
Well, I
because
mean, that's the
I hate
thing,
to see
man.
it.
Everybody who knows what's up and is in tune, however you
Right.
want to say it, because I hate saying woke. They done fucked that up.
Nah,
The
I say
liberals took that
awake.
over
Yeah, it's
and
a
fucked
fake
it all the
woke.
way up. You know what I mean? In
Right,
tune sounds better, but I mean, all of us know the end result. It's pretty
right,
much like how I look at it is I know what the end result's going to be. It's how long until we get there.
right.
That's pretty much how I'm looking at it. So I have full confidence and faith that the good will prevail and we're going to see a better world. Like I said, hopefully by about the time of my grandchildren. But
Yeah,
it's also like maybe it'll happen in 10 years, maybe it'll happen in 50. Like that's the where we're all wondering. We're all just like, okay, I'm gonna do my part to make shit better and spread
exactly.
awareness and until this shit kicks off. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we all feel it coming. Everybody knows. Like there's a lot more people that are waking up, bro, and
Oh yeah,
that's
most
why they're
definitely.
trying so hard. Like it's a psyop to try to make you through the news think that the majority of your countrymen are
Yeah,
thinking
sweet.
a different way than you and they're all a bunch of idiots when really it's a small minority that's
Man,
just
I'm telling you.
projected all over the news, and then they got regular people going, well, fuck, most of
Yeah.
America thinks like this, so they're scared to talk about it and find out that their neighbor is on the same fucking page.
You said it, bro. I'm telling you, if you just talk to people, or just look in the comment section in some of these fucking videos, it's like, I know they fucking tailor comments to, the algorithm tailors what comments you see depending on the person and stuff. But for the most part, I mean, it's quite a big percentage compared to what it was 5, 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And I think
Right.
2020 helped shook a lot of people awake.
It backfired on them.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's dude. So like the amount of people that are awake and aware, and you'll see it when you're actually like talking to people at the store or at customers, like when I do home repairs and stuff.
You can
It's like,
see it in their eyes.
yeah, exactly, man, and it's a lot more than you think, a lot more than the
They
media.
either got that fluoride stare or they don't. That's pretty much that's like the best way to put it, bro. Like, you can tell.
Man, I honestly, like, I say that all the time, like to myself when I'm driving. I'm like, I bet they're just because the way you can tell the way, like, people are doing weird shit lately, man, and a lot of weird shit. And
Bro,
to me,
you
it's
know
like,
what's been pissing me off?
ah,
It's fucking, I don't get road rage, man, but this shit is like the one thing on the road. So for some reason up here in Michigan, I don't know how people in Tennessee are, but when I lived
shit.
down in Florida, I loved it. But for some reason in Michigan, when you got two lanes going and then one's gonna close ahead,
Right.
everybody likes to jump over 2 miles back and make a big ass fucking line and leave this one open, right?
Yeah, it's
Well, in Florida, they do the zipper method, bro. It's like everybody down there knows. And I learned that like my first time driving a company truck when I was living down there. My boss was like, Hammer, get up to the front. What are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? And fucking, so I got used to that, come back, and I'm like, what the fuck? Well, I always just kind of laugh at them and fucking go up to the front. And I'm not like an asshole cutting people off, but I'll go up towards the front, not like right in front of everybody. Wait till there's a small gap and kind of nose my way over.
Right.
And lately, bro, just like in the last 6 months, there's been a lot of fucking, I call them social justice road warriors, because these motherfuckers will be sitting 2 miles back from where the lanes close, and here I come, and they'll fucking cut over and try to block me and shit.
Dude,
I'm like, I about got in a big ass fight with this dude one time, and fucking luckily he pushed out because I didn't need to go to jail. So I'm glad it worked out how it did.
Man,
but
I feel you.
Most of the time though, like I see it coming. I can see him watching, getting ready, nose over, all that shit, and I drive a 4x4. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you can move over all you want, bitch. I'll go in the grass. I know you ain't found me.
I'll go
there.
around.
I don't give a fuck. Or like if I'm on the Harley, bro, it's like I only need this much space. Like, good fucking luck cutting that off.
Man, I'm telling you, same shit. It's like, I feel like people are like trying to like get a reaction. It almost seems like people are just so miserable a lot of times that they're like, there's somebody, let me see if I can impede them or something, because I had to get a dash cam, bro. Because it was that bad. I'm like, am I fucking losing it? Am I literally like losing my fucking mind? But a 10-year-old, my little girl was in a car with me, and she goes, "Why do people do so much weird stuff around you?" I was like, "Okay, thank you. You see it. I'm not losing my
Right.
Like, yeah, dude, it's bizarre.
I feel like that could be like a test from God or the force, whatever you want to call it, because it could be like, okay, you're on the right path. Is some asshole in traffic going to be able to take you off that path? That's how I look at it.
I look at it exactly. That's how I try to keep my mind state that it's just a test and not to fail it. But there's a part of me that keeps pulling, wondering how many of these towers are influencing behavior of people.
Bro, you took the thought right out of my head. That's what I was gonna say. Is that's what they want? Yeah. They want everybody on edge. They want this like what's the word I'm looking for? Like
off balance, kind of. It's like
more than that. Like I wasn't thinking unstable, but for lack of whatever the fuck word I was thinking of, a really unstable situation where everybody's running around on edge, angry, and all the time, snapping off at each other. Because then you get, it's multifaceted. We all know that they're trying to depopulate us. So if they can get everybody snapping off, killing each other, then the ones that don't get killed or even fighting each other, beating the shit out of each other, then they can lock them up. Now you got these guys are dead and these guys are in prison. Slowly depopulating that way. It's fucking.
It is.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy as hell. So it's like they literally just want to turn us all into rabid dogs and turn us on each other.
Yeah.
And that's why they're mad that a lot of it's not working. You know what I mean? But you do have the rabid dogs out there still wandering around. That's what you got to watch out for. You're like, I don't know, man. That's where the liberals like you're insane. Because yes, it would be nice. It would be amazing to have an ideal world where you don't need guns
Right.
because everybody's cool and you ain't got to worry about the rabid
But they
dog.
are fun.
You know what I mean? But the reality of it is we're hundreds of years from that, and you're smoking fucking rocks if you think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't need a gun. Just call the cops. Like, bitch, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, straight up, like the cops are gonna come put you in a body bag. That's what you're gonna be calling them for.
Yeah. They'll be there after you're already dead. You know.
Yeah, it's fucking insane, bro.
Man, I mean, look at. I mean, we literally saw it happen to the Christchurch thing in New Zealand, like right before COVID. You remember all of a sudden it was this, and everybody got disarmed, and then during lockdown they were like beating fucking pregnant women in the streets and shit.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it's like that wouldn't have been happening like that had y'all not given it up. You know, I mean, that's all those little step plans, little chess moves. You know,
And that's what they do. That's especially in America. They know that they can't just step in and
Yep.
make one law that's going to repeal the Second Amendment, or you know what I mean. So what they do is over generations, they do little things. So like, bro, my grandpa, straight up, if you'd have told my grandpa like the gun laws now, like, oh, you can't have this big of a magazine, all this other shit. Okay, if you told my grandpa he couldn't have a fully automatic rifle that he brought back from Korea, he would fucking shoot you with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you go from that generation who's like, fuck you, Second Amendment shall not be infringed. I'm bringing my fucking machine gun back from Korea, eat a bag of dicks.
Right.
And then they slowly got to this generation that's now like, oh, well, maybe not assault rifles, maybe just hunting rifles and shotguns. And they know that if they did that, one generation, there'd have been a huge civil war. So they just slowly, okay, so the generation after that, they come in and, well, let's make it so you have to license pistols because they can be concealed, and let's ban automatic weapons. And they got them to be okay with that. Next generation, they come in, well, like the assault weapons ban that thankfully got repealed. Well, let's ban weapons that look like military. Like, what do you mean, bro? I can make a Ruger 22 look like a fucking AR if I want. Like, it 1022, you know what I mean? It ain't shit. So they do it slowly, and that's not. The Second Amendment is just a good example. That's not the only right that they do it with. They do it with freedom of speech. They're doing it now. You know what I mean? And they do it gradually over time so that hopefully their hope is that people aren't discovering that and remembering and shit like that. And they can pull it over, because that was basically by the next generation. That was the goal, was to have everybody so watered down and pussified in America that they could just come in and be like, all right, we're going to take this. Trust the government. Here's more money. We'll give you money. Just give us your guns. Don't worry about it. We don't have any plans.
Tying in with that is making people felons, like on for stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and that way, if you got all of a sudden, well, that's our reason.
You get caught with a little bit of personal use drugs, and now you're a felon. And now they're basically, it's a proxy to disarm people.
Yep. If you can make money off them for the time they're incarcerated, then you make money off them for all the fees and all this
and
stuff.
Shit, you know?
Then you can just say, oh, well, you lose your rights, even though they're rights, they're not privileges. But if you do, you're going back to fucking jail, you know, and you don't want that, do you? So you better not. I mean, even if you're like, this is a right, not a privilege. This is shall not be infringed. Even if
you got a really good lawyer, you can. Now that is one thing, is that they have changed that a little bit with that new clean slate law. Where basically, now I believe 100% shall not be infringed.
Right.
But it's a little more understandable, I guess, and that's that gradual thing. They got me with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because now it's basically, unless you're a violent felon, you can get it expunged and get your rights back. Right. So it's like, okay, we kind of took a step forward in the right direction, but still, it still shall not be infringed.
That's what I'm saying.
What I mean? Like, if you got a violent felon that comes out and gets another gun, fucking shoot his ass. It solves itself. There's the end of the problem. Quit fucking repeating the cycle. He wants to be a violent felon, come out and grab another gun and go be violent again. He's gonna run into someone with a gun. It's gonna blow his fucking head off and
fuck around.
Yeah, straight up. Like,
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. You know, it's like,
it's not even dangerous freedom though, because that's another psyop. I've looked into this one a lot. I'm glad this came up because I didn't even have this planned for tonight, but. The Wild West movies. It was a huge campaign by the CIA.
Oh yeah.
Through Hollywood
problems.
No, to make everybody think from all these Wild West movies that the West, when there was no gun laws, everything was just a shootout. Right. People would get in an argument in the bar, and the whole town's in a big fucking shootout, and everybody's getting killed left and right, and there's a fucking shootout in the street every goddamn day.
Right.
And they put this image in people's heads of the Wild West. where fucking, oh, well, if everybody's walking around with guns all the time and they portray that everybody has a gun on their hip and there's always violence.
Less
And it's the
violent.
total
The more
opposite,
people armed, the less violent.
of the
Yep.
fucking truth. Yeah. So it was this whole thing, bro, and it was done for 10 years. The CIA funded certain Hollywood studios. I'll bring
I
some
believe
notes
it.
so the next time we have you on, I can be like, remember what we were talking about? I found where you can find it. But
All right.
they yeah, bro, there's certain Hollywood studios that were funded by CIA programs and their focus was on portrayal of Wild West movies. That's why there were so many westerns in the 50s and 60s.
Right.
It was
Dude, it
all
makes
part of it.
sense.
It
I
was
mean,
all fucking psyop because they were pre-planning, so then they can reference back and say, well, if we just let everybody have guns and have no regulation, it'll be like the Wild West.
right.
Well,
No, it's
guess what?
not.
Do
It's
some
the
research on
moron.
how it actually was back then. That ain't how it went down, dog.
Well, that's like the
Everybody
same thing
knew you're
in
gonna get shot. Everybody's got a gun. You're gonna get shot. You act
exactly.
like an asshole.
In all the states that are well armed, the most well armed states have the least crime because everybody knows everybody's armed. They're not going to
Kennesaw,
charge
Georgia.
you. Yeah,
You know
yeah, yeah.
about Kennesaw, Georgia?
Was it
Guntown, USA?
I was thinking Texas. Oh, I got mixed
So
up.
it's a town in Georgia. They had like a big thing. I'm sure when I first researched it was years ago. It's
Kennesaw.
probably like 35 years now. But at the time when I researched it, it was 25 years murder free. And this town in Georgia passed a
Oh,
law that every citizen or every head of household in
yeah.
the
Has to
town
carry the
had to
firearm.
has to own and maintain and know how to use a firearm. And they offered city funded classes for anybody that needed to learn how to clean and shoot their rifle. And
Okay,
then
that's
obviously it's not something that's really, they're not going to go around knocking on your doors and let me see your rifle, but it's more of like a deterrent. Like you got the people who are too pussy to buy a gun that are just going to follow all the laws. So, okay, we'll make a law and make them buy a gun.
they can
And
buy a
then you
gun.
got the people that got guns anyways that are just like, hell yeah, right on. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
we were
So
talking about the same place. I was thinking it was in Texas, so that's Georgia. Okay,
Kennesaw,
that's
Georgia.
Kennesaw, Georgia. Yeah, it was that's the same thing I was thinking. I just had the place mixed up. But where they made it a
Yeah, bro.
law to have to, that's
Yeah, and that their crime
no
rate
more
is like the
crime.
lowest in the fucking country, and they've been murder free for when I first learned about it, it was like 2015. So at that time, it was 25 years. I should probably look into it and see how it's going now. But
Right. Hey man, that's like a one of those trial runs to kind of like a experiment, almost social experiment to prove that that's the case versus the
well,
other, not like what they're portraying in all these movies and shit. Like the more guns, more criminals, more no. Because if you make them illegal, the only people that are going to have them are those that are under the that are getting
right.
them.
Well, even in our indoctrinated public schools, they teach you that Thomas Jefferson was a very wise man, one of the key leaders, key founding fathers, one of the key people in forming our nation and all that. And then when you start looking at Thomas Jefferson and some of the shit that he said and stood for, and you start bringing that up, they're like, oh, well, he was crazy. Hold on, bitch. You just said that he was like one of the most important people in American history and he's wise as fuck. But now we find this over here where he's saying an armed society is a very polite society and saying all this other shit about minimal government. And now he's fucking crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck, dog? Like, it's crazy, bro.
man, it's all this. It's always this double speak, fork tongue shit, bro. Like the same thing with speaking of.
1984.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of
Yeah.
like when we're talking about the woke, and I call it the fake wokening. It's like every
Yeah.
grassroots people were waking up spiritually. They infiltrate it and put all these different agendas and turn it from awake to woke. But in that, like, perfect example, that same type of thing, how it's these double standards. When in 2012, when I first was like waking up, and you're going down all these rabbit holes, and you're like, the whole awakened ones were talking about Margaret Sanger and the agenda for killing black babies and the Planned Parenthood and
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff. And it was all, oh, well, like we're under attack, all these babies that die every year. And all of a sudden now those same people are all screaming, my body, my choice. When, it's like
Exactly. And they're not seeing the psyop of it. They're not seeing they just got convinced to fucking kill their own babies.
Yep,
It's insane,
exactly,
bro.
man. It's the same thing. It's just whatever fits the agenda. But then, as soon as it's about a jab in your arm, then no more my body, my choice. No more of that. As long as it's something that we want you to have. But that's something that we want in you. Double speak, fork tongue, shit, bro.
Double standards, hypocrisy,
Yep,
bro. I mean, it's all ways of the dark side. You know
man.
what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
everything that they use, it's all deception, and fear are the root of all evil. Everybody likes to say money is the root of all evil, but money is a deception in and of itself. And they create fear through making you worry about lack of money. So really, money is deception and fear rolled into one.
What's the main thing? The devil is the trickster, right? The deceptor. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist, and we see the results of that. You know, all these. But that's the thing, is all the evil that they're doing, I think, is actually drawing people to God more, because people are like, well, if they're this, then yeah, they're like, they're really pushing this evil. So that must be, you know, on the other side, I think it's all the things they're doing is having a counter effect and going, you know, not according to their plans in a lot of cases, I think. You know, it's having the opposite effect of what they were intending. But a lot of that too, you got to be weird, because sometimes it's all that, you know, problem, reaction, solution, Hegelian dialectic shit to be able to steer you into this, you know, kind of like reverse psychology or something, you know. So that's why discernment is so important, being able to actually commune with God and you know, be tapped in to have that kind of praying for understanding, understanding, and direction and stuff like that is crucial in these times, because of all the deception that we have to battle. You know, I mean, even the best of us, like, if you think you can't be tricked, you're already getting tricked. You know, it's like you have to be willing to admit that, like, I can be deceived. I've been deceived, and you know,
I've been through that too. I thought, you know, it was a couple years back where I was like, oh yeah, you know, I've got my shit together. You know, I'm on this path of righteousness, whatever you want to call it, and felt like nothing can touch me. And there is a certain thing though, like certain people, not everybody has this, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like, I'm special, I've ran into lots of maybe everybody does and they haven't tapped into it because they're not in tune with themselves yet. But there is a certain, I know for a fact that I have a certain level of protection but it also comes with things that I'm ignorant to. So like I learned a long time ago, like young, doing shit that I didn't know any better, know how much trouble I could get in, know how fucked up shit was, that I was always protected. But then once I knew better, if I was dumb enough to go back, I didn't have that protection anymore. Now I'm fucked. You know what I mean? And I feel like there is a certain level of protection with shit that I don't know. You know, like I'm not going to go play with a Ouija board. I know better than that. But I'm not going to walk into a building and some demonic entity is going to be able to attach itself to me just because I went in the building. I know that for sure too. You know what I mean? So it's like you have a level of protection, but it also comes with awareness and wisdom. Once you have the wisdom to know better, to be able to protect yourself from that, you kind of lose that divine protection. So, but a lot of people, a lot of people like fuck up like I did too, and are just like, well, nah, I'm invincible. You know what I mean? And you learn real quick that dark energies can still get to you. You got to keep your fucking guard up. Which if you read, I don't even. A lot of people like I like to reference other books too, just because a lot of people think like, okay, it's a religious thing and it's all about the Bible, and like I've read just about every religious book there is. There's a lot of times I'll reference like Buddhist teachings and shit. And my Christian buddies are like, oh, he's a Buddhist. Like, no, I'm not either. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in God, and they got the same shit over here. You know what I mean? But it's I don't know, man. That's taught in a lot of our books too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's pretty wild,
dude. I mean, the same thing. You know, you can learn from a child, right? Like you can learn from a baby. So you know, I learned from my dogs. My dogs have made me a better man just from being able to like introspect and reflect and stuff like that. And like, man, I need to be more patient, or I need to, you know. So that's the same thing. Like I don't feel like if you're just because you're a Christian or follower of Christ, you can't read these things. You know, I think being well-rounded and understanding, you'll end up seeing more similarities than you do differences. Obviously, there's differences, but you'll see how much more things actually have in common and are connected than they are disconnected. You know what I mean? It's like it lets you. To me, it confirms God even more because you're seeing all these different intersecting lines. So to say, you know, that is like undeniable, man.
And yeah, man. I mean, there's definitely I feel like a lot of people like, okay, so I struggled with this and I didn't, until I realized that I had a problem with it, I didn't realize that other people did too. You know what I mean? So when I say like a lot of people, I'm speaking from experience and then my view on things after that. But a lot of people will like half-ass trying to trying to change their life, be a better person, however you want to put it. So like they'll cut out all the obviously bad shit. You know what I mean? Like for example, like I was fucking with drugs and shit like that. Like obviously I cut all that out. You know, quit running around with biker clubs and all this kind of shit, and started being a family man, focusing
Right.
on the right things. But I still had little vices and excuses like, oh, there's not a big
Right.
deal if I go drink some beers with my brother and shit like
Right.
that. You know what I mean? And it really comes down to like you have to. It's can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out with that shit. Like you have to sit down and analyze what is everything that I'm doing that's not positive, that's having a negative effect on me. Whether you
Yep.
want to perceive it as evil or dark, or you want to have a different perception on it, that's what it is. And then you have to cut that shit out.
Dude, I
And
still do.
I
I
mean,
mean, you know, I
I
mean,
know that's me too. I got chewing right now.
yeah, I
But
mean,
I'm
it's,
also down to the point where, like, I feel like you said something about kids learning from babies, bro. Like, every
yeah,
one of my kids has made me a better person. You're like, oh, yeah,
see,
my
yeah,
son changed my life and I became a better person. Then I had a daughter, another kid, and I'm like, that did the same thing. Like, fuck, you
right,
just keep leveling up each kid. Like, how many kids I gotta have before I'm at the high level, bro? Like, I
right.
can't afford 12 kids.
Thank you.
Shit.
I'm
Right. But
glad you, man.
it's one of the things like now luckily I'm able to say, like, thinking on it, the only thing I can think of that I really have any problem with is nicotine. Everything else, like even weed, I smoke a lot of weed. I like smoking weed, but when it's necessary, like there's days where I don't smoke at all because I got shit to do, or like if for some reason, see, I'm in Michigan, so like drug testing ain't a thing for jobs. It's actually
Right.
illegal for them to test you for weed unless it's a DOT job.
Yeah.
But
The tables have
uh,
turned, man. Shit.
yeah, yeah. So like, but let's say for some reason it wasn't, or I was in a different state,
Right.
and all of a sudden I had to go get a job, provide for my family. It wouldn't even be a second thought or an issue for me to quit smoking weed for that. You know what I mean? I've tested
Right.
myself. I'm like, I'm gonna take 30 days off just to prove I can. No issue. And alcohol was a little bit harder for me to get away from. For a while, I was like, oh, I won't drink liquor. I won't get drunk. I'll just have a couple beers. But that always ends up spiraling, and
Back into
you
it.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? So really the only thing I feel like I'm still struggling with is nicotine. And I'm
See,
very blessed for that because like I said, it's the half in, half out thing. And now I'm aware of it. And like, I'm looking every day, like, all right, trying to do something about it. You know what I mean?
see, that's for me. It's
I've
the
thrown a
flip
couple
flop.
full cans of chew in the fucking trash and be like, all right, I'm fucking done. Fuck
Yeah, I've
this shit.
done.
I'm putting my foot down. And the next day I
Yeah.
wake up, I'm like, I'm gonna go get can chew. Like, it's fucking wild.
Done that, man. Been there with cigarettes and shit, or my vape, throw
Yep.
it in the car, smash it, and then next thing I'm like, fuck, now I go buy another vape. And
Yep.
I mean, for me, I smoked cigarettes since I was 10. I'm 40, so I mean, I've been vaping for 10 years, but I've been still, it was back and forth cigarettes and vape, and this was like to help me quit cigarettes, but then I'm vaping more than I'm doing that, so I'd end up going back
Right.
to cigarettes, and it's this whole back and forth. So I've finally been pretty much, I mean, every now and then I'll smoke a cigarette, but for the most part, they're finally behind me. But this vape,
Right.
I mean, the vape, and then I use the knickknacks, the little nicotine lozenges or
See,
whatever.
you're
But
gonna find this weird, but so I've been chewing since I was 8, daily since I was 12. That's not the weird part. So for me, I hate to smell cigarettes. I don't like how they taste, and they don't really do the same thing for me as
right,
chew. So it's super deterrent for me. So the one thing I actually just bought a pack today of those like American Spirit all natural
that's
ones.
what I use. Yeah,
The
that's
one thing that I
good.
found that helps me the best getting away from chew, because it's also a weight, like cigarettes are like 5 milligrams to 10 milligrams nicotine. Chew is like 20 to 40, depending on what brand you buy.
Gotcha.
So
A lot more.
fucking yeah. So that's really the only thing that I found. It's crazy we're having this conversation. I bought those, and I'm like, that's wild as hell. But because I'd hate fucking cigarettes, it's really hard for me to finish a cigarette. It's like with chew, sometimes I might not even necessarily be having a nicotine craving. It's just such a habit. Like I hop on the Harley, throw a chew in. I hop in the car, throw a chew in. I
Right.
fucking get on the
Creatures
mic.
that
I
have
always
it.
put a chew in before and then spit it out right before I click record type of thing. So it with the cigarettes, it makes it for me personally more of a like when I'm really craving nicotine, I'll deal with a nasty ass fucking cigarette to get the craving gone, but I'm not just lighting a
Gotcha.
fucking cigarette for the sake of
Right.
lighting one like I throw a chew in. So
See, for me, it's like the same
the
thing.
opposite,
The
probably, yeah.
opposite.
Like, yeah, it
Every
makes
now and then,
sense. Everybody's different.
if I'm working or if super stressed on a bunch of shit going on, I'm like, fuck, I'll end up getting a pack and smoke one and put them in a drawer for whatever. I
Right.
always regret it afterwards. I'm always like, fuck, why'd I do that shit? Now it stink, it tastes nasty, and like once I haven't done it in so long, you know what I mean? It's not the same as enjoyable as it was when you were doing it every day. And for
Right.
me, you know, I spent most of my younger years like I got on heavy drugs real early, and then that took me for a ride for a long time. But I ended up kind of getting it under control where I sold it for most of my life, so I never really looked like the fit the role. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
only certain people knew, and those people we, you know,
You
when
looked
everybody else looked,
successful, but it was because you weren't,
yeah, yeah, it was
feeling
all
shit to
image,
pay for
man.
your habit. Yeah.
Yep, it was all an image. I fell off so early that I kind of like learned how to manage it without, you know what I mean? Like I started to kind of
Right.
be
See,
able to maneuver
I
around
was
it.
fortunate that my run with hard drugs was very short. I didn't get into it till my early 20s, and
Yeah,
by 25, I done been locked up, got out of jail, and was like, I'm never touching that shit again.
that's
You know what I
good.
mean?
It,
So
for me, it was
yeah, so like I feel like it
years,
didn't have a
decade
lot
and
of
a half.
lasting effects. Like I've seen buddies that they did meth for 7 years, get off the shit, and they're never the same, bro. They're burnt. They're like
I
you
feel.
can.
I mean, I got
They've been
little
sober.
kicks.
They've been sober for 2, 3 years, and they're still burnt. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then I'm like, thank God I only fuck with that shit for one summer. You know what I
See,
mean? Like,
man,
and
I
I was
smoked
never.
crack
It was never
and
like
meth and
a
everything for a decade and a half, bro. And I mean, I still feel like every now and I get like a little, you know, a little tick or something, man. And that's
yeah.
why I'm big on detoxing and like minerals and nutrients
Hey,
and legit and all that shit. Yeah, you already know.
Zeolite, bro. Shout out to you for that,
I'm
man.
I'm
Eh,
thankful. I'm thankful that I'm in as good a shape as I am for everything that I've been through. You know what I mean? Like everything
right,
that I've done to myself, man. I said years and years, decade and a half of fucking deep self hate and you know, just constantly fucking trying to bend reality, escape reality, and numb myself, and you know, watching all my friends die around me. And I mean,
right.
dude, when I finally like getting locked up the last time was what saved my life, and I was in county for 2 years fighting the shit before I even like before I bonded out and got 10 years
Shit.
paper. But
Yeah,
see, my
see,
thing,
60 days saved my life. Fuck two
see,
years. 60 days was
21,
all I needed. I come back out. I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm done.
man, the last time I was in county jail for 21 months and then finally bonded out and
Fuck
then got
that.
10 years paper, bro. And on 10 years paper, you think that I could like fucking that would be enough to make me not smoke, you know what I mean? Like it was all that's where I learned about detoxing and shit because it was all like this like tug of war shit back and forth, you know,
Yeah.
it's like weed has always been the hardest thing for me to stop because I justified that, well, this is what keeps me calm. It keeps me, you know, it
So it's
keeps
a
me
mental
level headed.
thing. It's like
Yeah,
it's a mental addiction.
right, and because I
Those
quit drinking,
sometimes
no problem, but
I've been reading into that shit. Like there's actually that's another psyop is like obviously opioids are really addicting physically and
right,
mentally. That's why they're the worst because they get you both ways. But
yeah,
they're showing that a lot of drugs that are mentally addicting but not physically are actually harder to kick. It's crazy, but that
that's what
also goes
nicotine,
down to
weed, like,
well, it goes
yeah,
down to deterioration of the psyche of the average American. So we
man,
have a weaker mentality because of all this other shit, the toxins, the
right,
programming, all this other shit, and it makes it, you know what I
fucking
mean? It makes
TikTok and
sense.
shorts and shit that get your
Yep.
attention, dopamine hits. It's all the little pings and dings of the phones that match
It's
the
crazy,
slot
bro.
machines and shit to you know get those dopamine hits.
And a
We're
lot
in
of
a
people
fucking
don't
dopamine.
realize that, yeah, a lot of people don't realize that they're walking around depressed and angry all the time because of shit like that, dopamine and serotonin shit. And then they're
Yeah,
taking SSRIs that fucks their shit up even more,
dude.
antidepressants and shit. And they go, like, that shit's crazy, bro.
Speaking of antidepressants, that ties back into all these, you know, MK
You
Ultra.
probably thought exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, this,
I almost said, well, then they take antidepressants and go do
yeah,
certain types of shootings. Yeah.
certain events. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, bro. Because every single one of them, they have that same fucking look in their eyes, man. It's always this, you know,
Yep.
this fucking like blank fucking stare through your soul. You know, there's nothing in there but some kind of weird programming, man. And that's all those drugs make you fucking even Tylenol or was it ibuprofen or Tylenol makes you apathetic.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Tylenol. It literally
Yep.
like makes you to where you're numb and not as like emotionally you know, present. You know what I mean? Which is fucking
Yeah,
crazy because
ibuprofen's
everybody
like
takes
bad for
Tylenol.
your ibuprofen's like bad for your gut, and if you take too much,
Yeah,
it's bad for your heart.
it
But
eats
that's
holes
why
in
I
your
switched
stomach and
to
shit.
like I very, very rarely will take ibuprofen from chewing
So
so much. Sometimes I have teeth problems, you know. So
right,
like that's the only time. Most of like I've had knee surgeries and shit like that. So like I have chronic pain that's very well regulated with marijuana. So I don't
right.
have to take anything like that. But every now and then, I could say honestly, dude, twice in 2025, I've taken ibuprofen.
Yeah.
But
See, I haven't taken it in years.
that's like a last resort if I absolutely have to. But
Right.
I started doing that because I learned about Tylenol and I compared the two. And you can't pay me to take Tylenol. I will not
Right.
fucking take it. Period.
Those
Like,
NSAIDs and all that shit, like Aleve
yeah,
and
it's
stuff like that,
the
that all eats holes in your stomach. And
well, that's the
um,
thing. Like the research that I did, basically, from what the conclusion I came to, comparing a bunch of different shit, was with ibuprofen. The reason it's causing all these holes in the stomach, heart palpitations, fucking inflammation, all kind of shit, is because people are taking it every day or taking it regularly to manage moderate or chronic pain when that's not the way. It's designed for, like, okay, I got a headache this one time,
right.
not migraines every
Yeah,
fucking day. I got a
they say
headache.
even the one
I'm gonna
time
take
can
a couple of
do this
these.
shit.
See, what I was looking into, basically, like, that's why I'm like, okay, if I take ibuprofen a couple times a year, it ain't gonna kill me. But I'm
Right.
not. You know what I mean? I'm taking ibuprofen and making a dentist appointment to go get it fixed, not taking
Right.
ibuprofen for a month.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like
So,
for
I mean,
fucking take
obviously, it's
it.
got bullshit in it, bro. It's a pharmaceutical still. It's still going to not be good for you, but it's the level of it. It's basically that trade off of, like, okay, do I want to put this tiny little bit of toxins in my system that probably won't have any lasting effects as long as I, you know what I mean, detox and shit like that in
Yeah.
order to alleviate this pain? Or do I want to fucking not be able to talk and be ready
Right.
and go Kyle and punch the wall because my tooth hurts? It's like,
Speaking of that, though, that ties back in because the last time I took it, I had a bone infection in my. It was the shooting of the Balance music video, bro. I ended up almost going septic. They fucking had a drain tube in. I had bone infection and all this shit. So I'm like, I didn't take anything at first. I didn't take the antibiotics or the pain meds that they gave me. And that's when doing the shooting of the music video, my face was ballooned up, and I ended up almost going septic. So afterwards, I ended up taking the ibuprofen for pain and the amoxicillin or whatever the damn thing was,
antibiotics,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
antibiotics. So, but man, for before it, I was treating it with high dose vitamin C and kratom or wild lettuce. Have you heard of wild? I mean, wild lettuce is a weed,
I've heard of
and
wild lettuce, but that
yeah,
kratom, bro, they've been learning some shit about
well,
kratom.
that's the extracts and all the tampered with shit, bro. I've
Uh,
actually look. I've been that's one thing. That's another thing that has been kind of prevalent in my life is because I have back pain and I mean I've been shot. Fucking, I've broken so many bones like over the years
I
that
used to race motocross, so I got more broken
yeah.
bones on count.
I skated for 8, 9 years, man, and threw myself down flights of stairs and and the bikes and jumping, fucking all that shit, bro. And my body is for somebody that doesn't like pharmaceuticals, I look at everything like everything that your body is like when you have pain and shit is a signal to tell you about something. It's a warning. And and as Americans, we are indoctrinated to the second you feel something, you got to numb it or treat the symptoms versus understanding what's causing it and getting to the root. You know what I mean? And trying to get to the root of the problems. What's crazy that for years my back has been fucking with me. And that's what the main reason that I've been taking kratom is for my back pain. I just got because I've been wanting to quit the shit. Like I only take it a couple times a day, and it's literally just for pain management. But I got these damn barefoot shoes. Most of our fucking back pain and shit stems from all these weird ass shoes, and they know that because all these fucking shit ties in with creating more fucking funds for the big
Yep.
pharma and stuff and surgeries and medications and shit. If you can like look at Nikes are fucking made like narrow as shit like this, to where your foot can't sit flat. Work boots, you're wearing work boots all day.
Well, that's
I ended
why
up
I wear
well,
cowboy boots and barefoot. Sometimes I wear flip flops, you know what I mean? But the reason is because basically, well, I grew up wearing cowboy boots all the
yeah, I
time, but
wear
I
my
wear
Ariats all fucking day, man, and that's
right, but I
you
get
know,
the wides because if you
yeah,
get cowboy boots, they're less constricting as it is. Most of them are,
right,
and if you get the wides, like when I get them, like my feet still touch the sides. They're still snug on me, but they're not tight.
same,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And fucking
yep,
little shit like that, bro. Like I'm not gonna go buy no goddamn custom shoes to make my feet not all fucked up. I'm not that deep
no,
down the rabbit hole. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna look for some shit that's not squeezing.
well,
You know what I
I've
mean?
been
Like,
that's the thing. I've been with my work boots. I wear pretty much most of the day. You know what I mean? I come home, finally kick those off after doing shit, and put on my Adidas slides or whatever. But even those, I notice when I'm wearing those, my back is fucking always throbbing. And so I was like, all right, I found these Bron Air fucking shoes because most of the barefoot shoes look fucking stupid. You know what I mean? They got like the finger toes and all this weird shit. I didn't want any fucking weird, like, you know, weird fucking shoe designs. I wanted something that looked like a normal shoe or a work boot that would stop, let my foot sit normally. So I got these, and these ain't bad, man. I mean, they look like normal tennis shoes, and these motherfuckers, since I got them, bro, my back pain has been night and day difference. I haven't taken as much kratom, none of that shit, just because I haven't been in pain as much. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
I
I was
mean,
gonna ask you that if you feel like you kind of become reliant on the kratom.
yeah,
So I
I
know
mean,
people
I,
that,
I tell people don't get on it unless
yeah,
you are getting off pharmaceuticals or opiates and you need it to use as a tool. But I tell people they say, oh, it's just kratom. It's just, even if you're getting a leaf, this is all just raw leaf. That's all I ever take. I don't like none of the extracts or nothing. I don't, I'm not taking it to like lift my mind. I'm taking it so I don't feel like I'm getting mule kicked in my spine all day, and but I want to stop, and it's one of those things that got a hold of you. My back starts flaring up, all the things that you're blocking out. So that's why I was so determined to get to the root of it. And the shoe shit has made night and day difference to where I've taken one dose today. That's it, all day.
that's awesome, bro.
Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
I'm hoping that I can keep the shit at bay and then work my way down. But yeah, don't take it if you're not. I'm a vendor for this shit, man. I can tell people don't take it. Don't take it. This shit unless you absolutely need it and you're trying to not be on pharmaceuticals or opiates. That's the only
See,
way that you should take it is,
so like my thing, like when I was younger and experimenting with drugs and shit, that's why I really didn't ever have a problem like with the meth thing. Like obviously it was a problem, you're
right,
doing fucking meth. But
right,
mine wasn't like I was addicted to that. It was because I was in an MC and everybody's blowing hot rails, hopping on the bike and riding 6 states over. So it was just more the
right.
environment, and that was what was around. I should have known better, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But
Live and
it
learn.
so like with opiates, I never had a problem with them, but I partied with them a lot when I was younger, like 18 to 20, because I grew up in the era where pharmaceuticals were extremely prevalent, bro. Like
Yeah. Same.
dollar a piece for Oxy 40s at the high school type of shit.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy, bro. And
A dollar,
fucking
you said Oxy 40s, $1 a piece. Oh yeah,
bro,
that was more prevalent
I
than I'm used
had
to.
multiple fucking friends who had like parents and shit that got crazy scripts. Like one of my buddies, his dad got fucking like 60 Xanax bars, 60 Adderalls, and then I don't remember how many oxys, and he would only take half, and then he just give them to my buddy. So
Right.
thing with them. But the thing is, so like I never had a problem with opiates. I had them after surgeries and shit, and took them as I was supposed to. Didn't have a problem, and then I've also bought 20 Percocets and party for a week and then not had a problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's just personally, I know like that's not the case with everybody. I know people that take it once and they're fucking hooked and now they're doing heroin.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's so when I tried kratom, it was never for anything like that. It was like, oh, this shit hits like a perk.
Right.
Let me just it's some leaves. Let me try that shit.
See, I've had the
I
people
got
who kratom, but
I got real fucked up on it one time and then had a really bad stomach ache and was just like, not worth it. You know what I mean? Like
that
never
happens
tried
for
it
a reason,
again.
man. That happens
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
reason.
And
Don't
then
get.
later down the road, I'm seeing all this shit. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the shit is coming from adultery. Like, if you're getting this head shop fucking kratom and then you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this isn't lab tested. I wonder why it has fucking, what's it called in it? Fentanyl and shit like that. Like, dude,
They're
there's been
putting
like,
fentanyl in the kratom?
dude, I mean, I'm telling you, there's been some shit like where people have the people have died from and stuff, and they found out that the products were adulterated. I think it was fentanyl or some kind of opiate or other fucking over the counter one of those gas
Damn.
station things, that they sell. Like that's some kind of research chem or something. But yeah, there's the people that have died from kratom. It's always been adulterated products. It's been shit that has other stuff in it or these extracts that are 10 times more powerful than if you just take the leaf, then it's not like dangerous like that. You know what I mean? But it's still not good because
Right.
you get dependent on it. So that's I never got big on the extracts and stuff. But the thing is, I'm hooked on the leaf for sure. Like I mean, if I don't take it, I'm angry, irritable. My back's feeling like I'm getting mule kicked. All this
So
shit.
that's one of those 1 foot in, 1 foot out though, bro.
Yeah,
Do you feel
it
like
is. I
that's something
know.
you
I
should
know. Well, that's why
I mean, I
I'm
ain't telling you,
trying to.
I'm asking you,
You're
like, how
right.
do you view that? Is that something you should
Well,
or
that's
do you
yeah.
then
That's
there's
why.
also things where like it might be necessary. So like I feel like I've proven to myself that I don't have a problem with weed. Like I said last year, just for the fuck of it. Me and my buddy were talking about it. He does it all the time.
Right.
But he was doing like the sober October thing, and I was like, yeah, you know, everything except weed. And we were talking. He's like, bro, you should take a 30-day tolerance, or 30-day tolerance break. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I take a 3-day tolerance break. My tolerance goes down and get high as fuck. And he's like, you should take a 30-day break to prove to yourself you can do it.
Right.
And I was like, okay, motherfucker, you made a challenge now. I'm like, all right.
Right.
And after doing that, bro, like I might have been a little more irritable like the first day or two, but it wasn't like how I am to extreme anger. It was just like maybe my fuse was 80% instead of 100%. You know what I mean?
Right.
And after doing that, now I look at it as like it really is a medication for me. Like I have 2 screws in my fucking knee. I have all kind of shit that if I went to the doctor, they'd have me on 10 different pharmaceuticals right now. And you know, I mean, different what do you want? Not mental, I guess more social fucking
social
shit that like
or something,
the kind of shit that they would give other people Xanax for. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get anxiety, but I get like if I'm around too many people, bro, I'm tripping and I get real paranoid.
Yeah.
If I smoke it, like if I go to Walmart without smoking a joint, I'm like, bro, this just happened the other day. Like I'm 10 minutes in, I'm telling my lady, like, I gotta leave. Like, here's my wallet. I'm sorry, I'll take the kids. I have to leave. Like I'm not having a good time. Whereas if I smoke a joint, I walk into Walmart just like that's the kind of shit they give people Xanax for. Yeah. Dude. So like if I were to go to the doctor, they'd say, okay, well here's Xanax for that. Here's you're gonna need some SSRIs too. And then, oh, you have chronic knee pain and all this shit. Well, here's some fucking whatever opiate or painkiller they give you for that. And then that's going to cause indigestion and stomach inflammation. So here's 2 things for that. You're going to get migraines from the stomach inflammation medication. So you're going to need migraine medication. And then it's like, hold the fuck up. It's like, hold the fuck up. I can eat a gummy and smoke a joint and all that is, I don't want to take any of that. Like, you got me fucked up, dog. You know what I mean? So that's why I look at weed different, though, is like, because I've proven to myself that like it's not, because I was at the point where I'm like, yeah, it's medicine, it's my medication, you know what I mean? But then I'm very introspective. So I had the point where I was like, well, am I using that as an excuse? Right. It's like, do I really need it? You know what I mean? And so once I proved that to myself that I could that it wasn't an issue and it was something that if I needed to, I could put down, then I was kind of like, okay, this helps me in these ways. It's my medication. It made me feel a lot better about it. See, I did have a point where I was like, did I cut everything out and I'm making excuses for weed? And then it was like, okay, I'm not making excuses. Like
it's flipped for me because that's how for years I've smoked my whole life. You know, I mean, since I was a kid, and you know, even my ex-wife is like, you know, she saw me when I didn't smoke. She's like, you know, blah 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 blah. And she when finally she saw me for like a week of not smoking, and she was like, no, you need to smoke. You need to smoke because I can tell the difference. You're agitated. You're angry. So, you know, I mean, we had a whole little battle when all that shit happened, you know, like she's not a smoker. She got agitated that I was smoking. Then she saw me actually sober. And then she was like, no, you need to smoke. So I've always justified my smoking. Like it's my medicine. It's my what keeps me calm. But then the switch part of it was ever since I've been like, you know, out from and turned shit around, it's completely different. Weed makes me more fucking paranoid and like dumb. And I always feel like,
really?
Yeah, dude.
Do you think it's a strain thing?
I thought that, man, because there's, you know, certain strains
here's
strawberry the cough or something that's more
it used to be a lot easier to discern if a certain strain was good for you or not. And now that I'm real deep in the cannabis market, especially being in Michigan where it's so fucking legal. Like half of my friends own fucking dispensaries. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I know for a fact that 80% of the strains on the shelves nowadays are crossed from 3 original strains in Michigan. And so you'll have all these different names and different tastes, and it's because they're doing this shit. There's a lot of actually like GMO weed. They're like implementing genetics from an orange plant to make your weed taste like oranges. And nobody's just like, this weed probably shouldn't taste like I'm smoking Tropicana. That's probably not a good thing. You know what I mean? Right. So there's a lot of these hybrid strains, and there's other hybrid strains that are, I guess it is genetic modification, but it's natural. So there's a way of hybriding that I've used where you put, you put 2 strains next to each other, one that germinates the other, and then you pull the seeds out. Your bud's going to be no good from that, but you're going to have a bunch of seeds of new strain. So that's like the natural way of doing it. But yeah, a lot of it is cross. A lot of it's crossed from these same strains, and they focus different parts. So you'll have these two strains that they take and they implement something else and do a little genetic twist on this phenotype rather than this phenotype. And now, even though they came from the same two strain, this one's a sativa and this one's an indica. Well, if you get down into the actual compound makeup of the plant and the strains and the different phenotypes and shit, how it all goes, it all traces back. How it's going to affect you actually matters on those original two plants. So a lot of people will be like, I ask people about strains, and a lot of people will be like, well, I tried 10 different strains and all of them do the same thing. And you ask them, what 10 strains did you try? And then there's an app you can look and see what strain is this crossed with? Where did this come from? And some of them you got to dig, because some of them you'll be like, what's this one crossed with? And it'll tell you Skittles and Gushers, which are strains up here. And then you go, so a lot of people go, okay, well, that's not one that's from made from the Girl Scout cookies or Gorilla Glue. You know what I mean? Those are two of the big ones. So, but if you dig, where did Skittles and Gushers come from? Oh, Skittles came from Runts and Gorilla Glue. Oh, son of a bitch. You start getting down there, So they're thinking they're trying a bunch of different strains when really you're just trying a very, very slight variation with some other shit thrown in there of the same strain. So you have to look deep into that. If you're really using cannabis for like medical purposes, like something like that, then you really have to do your research on it and not just go trust what they say at dispensary. Because half, like my buddies own dispensaries, bro. Half of them, they're just a bunch of stoners that like weed too, and they're talking from experience. They're not lying to you necessarily, but they don't. They might not know that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, you gotta find. So I've figured this out. Like with me personally, I'm not as what would you want to say? I guess it's sensitive to it. So most strains I can smoke. Straight sativas I can't. I get paranoid off them. But, most I can, but then like I have buddies that there's only a few strains they can smoke. And then like my old lady, we've only found like 2. You know what I mean? She really don't smoke much because of that. And with her, like those 3 main ones that they're crossing everything with, making all these strains, those are the ones she can't fuck with. So it's hard.
It might be the case, man. But I mean,
yeah, bro. So like, you really got to do your research on that shit. Yeah, exactly. And strawberry cough is an OG strain that hasn't been crossbred 600 times. Strawberry cough's been around since the 90s. That's why.
All right, that explains it then, because it's like that. I even said it's like that old school stone. It's not like this weird, whatever. Everything makes me like slightly stupid and fucking.
Yeah, you smoke that new hybrid weed and it's not the same. You're high, but it ain't the same.
Right.
It's not like introspective, bro. I remember smoking a joint and sitting there and like it's damn near like a fucking very, very mild acid trip. You know what I mean? Like you're in your head.
The shit, bro. Like I'll start getting paranoid, or like my words. Like I feel like it just makes me slightly stupid and anxious. You know what I mean?
What you got to do is look into the genetic makeup and the levels of different CBNs, CBDs, THC, all this different shit. The levels of everything in strawberry cough and the genetic makeup of it, and then find other strains similar to that aren't crossbred with all this other shit.
Right.
Because, like I said, I've had buddies that I've had the same kind of conversation with, and they're like, no, dude, I've tried 10 strains. I can't do it. I'm like, hold on. Pull a jar out. Try this one. And they smoke and go, holy fuck, this is like when I used to smoke weed in high school. I'm like, exactly, because that's the same genetic makeup of the weed you smoked in high school. That's why.
See, I miss that fucking old school shit instead of, I mean,
you can still get it. You just got to know, like, my best friend still has the original Gorilla Glue #4. And a lot of the shit out here is not, like, if you know, that's one of those strains that's so specific, you can smell the bud and you fucking know if they're lying or not. Like, I can go into the dispensary and they'll be like GG4, and I don't want it. I ask them just to check it out. You know what I mean? Like, let me smell it. I'll smell the jar and be like, that ain't GG4. And my one buddy owns a dispensary. He knows too. And I said something to him one time. I was like, I went into your shop today, bro. They got some fake Gorilla Glue in there. He's like, what? And then he went in the next day, checked it out, and he was like, you're right. Fuck that grower. I was like, yo.
Same thing with, what is it? D13 or was, green crack. Green crack. Now it's not the same as it was. It used to be like you could smell it a fucking mile away. This shit now, it's different. It's
the one I miss was the original Super Silver Haze. If you ever come across anybody like that,
that's what I'm literally smoking right now. But it's not. I don't think it's not the original. I don't think it's the original, man.
Damn. Yeah, bro. Because so like my boy, he managed to hang on to the original GG4, What's the other one that he's got? It's bro. This is like me and him bought a bag of fucking brickweed, bought an ounce of brickweed when we were 14,
Right.
and grammed it out. And this has been like my boy with weed since then. It's one of my best friends. And yeah, bro, he hung on to that strain and one other old school one. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then I hung on to Granddaddy Perp. I got lucky. I was pissed when it happened, but I got lucky because I had 8 original Granddaddy Perp seeds from like 2007, right? Well, I was like planted one year, all this shit. Well, I got down to where I had 2 left. I planted one and it hermed out and was full of fucking seeds.
But then
And
you
I
got
wasn't thinking at first. I wasn't thinking at first. I was pissed. I
Right.
was like, fuck, dude. And then my buddy was like, bro, you got that shit for life now. So I got a jar of it, bro, and it grows just as fire every time. And when you smoke it, it's like you're back in fucking 2012. How you feel like you can have no music, nothing that is nostalgic or reminiscent of that time, and you smoke that shit, and you're like, I feel like 2012 right now. Like it's fucking crazy, bro.
I do.
So I grow one
shit
that every fucking year, bro. Like, look.
And when you said the shit about all coming from the same base range, it's funny because that it resonated with me because I even told my brother, I said, look, no matter which strain you get, if you go up to Marley's or whatever, well, you pick all the strains, no matter if they have a slight different smell, different fucking, you know what I mean?
Well,
different.
A lot of the smells and the terpenes,
terpenes
give it the
and
flavor.
all that shit.
A lot of the smells and terpenes are
added in.
Well, not necessarily added in. So there are fake ones that they spray on it. That's a whole other thing. But a lot of those terpenes are things that are genetically added in. So like they'll grow. I did see one where they were doing like a natural fusing of like oranges and weed, and it was crazy. They were like having
they actually grew like an orange plant with it.
They had the orange plant growing right by it. That was it basically. What's the word I'm looking for? Not fucking
Did they do
fertilized.
It through grafting?
Not fertilized. What's the fucking word, bro? I can't germinate. Germinate. No, listen. They got the orange plant to germinate a female weed plant, and it grew some weird fucked up seeds that wouldn't grow into a plant at first, or something like that. So then they grew that. They did something weird, bro. I remember like reading the whole thing about it, but for the most part, what they're doing is they're going into the genetic makeup of this and fucking with it in a lab now out in California. That's how they're getting a lot of. That's how they're getting a lot of strains. Now the original way of crossing strains, you know about cloning?
Yeah.
So you could basically cross strains at cloning. You basically clone 2 strains together.
Yeah, exactly.
You create a hybrid, and then you cut clones off of that. And
that's what I was talking about, the grafting and shit, right? Yeah. The same thing they did with apple tree, where they can grow 4 or 5 different types of apples off the same tree by grafting off.
That shit's crazy.
That's nuts. And I mean, I think that's cool as far as like natural genetic modification.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if we can do that with nature, why do you need to make bioengineered food?
Right. Because they've been doing that forever,
you don't need to do that.
They've been doing that forever and ever.
Well, now the new angle is, well, if we go to all natural foods and completely cut out processed food and bioengineered foods, everybody will starve. There's not enough food to feed the earth. Bullshit. Hold up, motherfucker. That might have worked in 1970, but we know how to do math. And we got Google Earth, and we can look up how much square footage of uninhabited or national park land or state park land that the government owns that it ain't doing shit with that could be used to produce food and house people. And now your whole homelessness can't be solved and poverty and hunger can't be solved goes out the fucking window as soon as people start looking at square footage of land that the government owns that's unused, that could be used, and how many people there are and the population density. All you got to do is like, I'm really good with numbers, so I can do that shit in my head most of the time or on a piece of paper. But even anybody can write these numbers down, and even if you don't know how to put it in a calculator and break it down, you can Google or Chat GPT, how do I use these numbers to figure out this percentage? It's not hard. Everybody has the tools in front of them. People just use the tools to stare at TikTok cat videos instead of fucking learning. Yeah.
If we didn't spend billions of our tax dollars and sending it to Israel, for all that stuff, we'd be able to have a little more stuff over here.
Get me started on that one. Shit. Get us canceled on the first episode. We'll save that one for next time.
Chop. Hey, man, but for real, it's crazy. Like, all the stuff that they say that is, a problem here could easily be solved. The amount of food that we throw away and waste, like the amount of food that ends up in landfills that you can't get because they pass laws that say, like, you can't feed this to people that need it, even though that the food is completely fine. Well, why? because you're trying to feed this fucking problem instead of actually feeding the problem. You know what I mean? So to say, you know
Well,
what I
they
mean? Like
create the
it wouldn't be a
problem in the
problem if you
first
fed
place, so
them
they
with the
want
food
to,
and nutrition.
yeah, they want to inflate the problem
Yep,
while also controlling the market and profiting off of food. That's what it's like.
exactly.
Everything that these evil fucks do has multiple meanings, and once you start understanding that, like I got to where 90% of what I do, other than like daily shit, you know, like playing with my kid doesn't have a multiple meaning, or taking
Right.
my lady out to dinner don't have a multiple meaning, but pretty much like shit that I do in my life, you know, like work wise and on the internet and shit like that. I pretty like sometimes I don't even know right off rip, but it all has multiple meanings. And it's like once you get in the mindset of like
Oh yeah.
doing something, because it basically gets to where like I only got so much time because I have so much fucking shit on my plate. So it's like, okay, I can do one thing that takes care of three things, addresses three things, does
Right.
covers three things, whatever the situation is. So it becomes more of a tool, but it also makes shit have more depth. Like it's a real fun thing. I like things with multiple meanings too, but once you get in that
Oh yeah.
mindset, you're able to see when people are doing things and they have like they'll act like this is the reason for doing something, but really there's three other reasons in the
Yeah.
background.
Right.
But now once you get in that mindset, it's like, oh, I see what you're doing, dog. Like I see
Right.
these four fucking hidden agendas. Like you ain't got me.
Well, even looking at everything, we're back to what we were talking about, like the spiritual side of like most people just see the physical of what they're doing instead of like realizing that everything has that spiritual significance too, you know, like
Exactly.
and if you look at everything, like everything that happens back to what we were talking about, like the challenges, like what's the meaning in this, you'll find meaning in all these things. Like this is just an example, but I think the phones are fucking with people. I'm noticing more and more people kind of like are having vision problems and shit. And I've noticed with my own eye that like this eye won't focus as much as it was. You know what I mean? It's like my eye keeps going
Yo.
out of focus. So I was driving and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with my vision? I'm like, my focus is off. And it hit me. It was like, dude, I haven't been focused lately. Like, you know what I mean? I've been knocked losing my vision. My vision was to help people, use my story to try to like uplift people and you know share my insights and shit. But yet
So your
I'm
vision is tied to your vision.
yeah, and I'm losing
Oh,
I'm losing it because I'm driving around angry, talking about fuck all these people that moved here and all this shit. They're clogged fucking up my city, and it's
I'm
all this
gonna have to look
anger,
into that.
you know, and shit like that. You know, it's always be agitated like driving because you know my road rage shit with damn near getting hit head on fucking multiple times a day and people doing stupid shit, you know. So I'm like in that I realized I was like I'm losing my vision by letting my anger cloud it, you know, and I'm not like
It's
in the type of
crazy.
mind frame that I'm in to try to connect with people and network and do all this shit. Instead, I'm closed off.
You don't
And
think it could just be vitamin deficiency?
I thought that too. Yeah, I literally
So,
I was looking
but
into.
well, the reason I said that's crazy and why that came up, so mine was probably just vitamin deficiency, but it could
I
make
literally
sense because it was also at the same time. So I had the same problem about a year ago, and I started taking vitamins, but that wasn't the only thing I did. So it was also I was starting to stray off the path. And part of when I was
right
like, oh shit, start taking
the
vitamins and doing
vision.
other things to get back on the right path. So it could be coincidental, but I don't believe in that. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's one of the
there's the
things where
coincide.
I'm gonna acknowledge that probably was the vitamins, but I still believe that it was more than that. But what's
Right.
crazy is I was just talking to someone today that was telling me that they've been recently, very recently, having vision problems. It's someone I know really well, and I was like, damn, I
Hmm.
don't know, it don't make sense. I don't know why. And then you said the phones and then losing the vision and all this shit. And I was like, oh fuck. And
Dude, I
another
think
thing
it's
is like
you know.
with the live stream, there was a point where shit was spiraling out and there was all kinds of drama all the time and shit, and it was fucking annoying.
I know.
And I was like fucking damn near checked out of it, like just letting everybody do the drama and spinning some music in between. And at that point, I remember it only happened a couple times, but I had like flashes of vision loss where like shit got blurry on me out of nowhere. I didn't change anything to make it come back. It just
Huh.
we took that in a new
I thought it
direction,
was
and I haven't
stress.
had that again. That's fucking crazy. Could be
See, I've been
stress,
thinking
blood
stress,
pressure. I'm
man.
sure there's a
Yeah,
million explainable fucking reasons, but
right.
I lost my
I,
vision. So I lost my vision sounds cooler. It's more motivational.
it's true though. I mean, it's like the spiritual significance of it in
It
the
makes
time, and it's
sense.
like even if it's a mineral deficiency or if it's stress or you know, I was looking stuff up. I said what minerals for vision loss, you know, or for vision problems and stuff like that. So when you said the mineral deficiency, I was like, dude,
Right.
we're on the same page. But the thing with stress too, I figured I was like, it's either a deficiency or a stress thing, because it's like when your blood pressure's up, your fucking ears, your hearing, your sight, you start having all these issues. And if you're riding around angry and stressed, there's probably like minerals that we're missing, like magnesium, that help regulate your stress and cortisol levels and shit to where you're not as easily agitated, right? So it's like it ties in with all of it. It's not. It could be a mineral deficiency and the stress, because the stress helps deplete minerals and shit too. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're stressed all the time and cortisol's pumping, it doesn't matter how healthy you eat, you're still going to be deficient in a lot of things because you're using it up to, to fucking survive in survival mode.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think it the way that it happens and the times that it happened. I don't think I don't believe in coincidences. I believe things coincide. So like the timing and shit of it, it's like, even if on the physical side it's this thing, the double meaning is in that spiritual side, it is this thing. It's reminding me to, get these things in order so I can get that focus and that vision back. But I do think the phones play a role too, because we're always like this. It used to be you're staring at a thing here. You remember when we were kids, they told us if you stare at the TV, you'll go blind and all this shit. But yet now we're literally like this all fucking day long. And then when you look far away, your eyes trying to adjust again when it's been staring at a screen and all the blue light and all that shit. I think it's probably a combination of different things. Stress, blue light, phones, the closeness. I mean, it could be a literal blend of all these different things. You know what I mean? All these factors working together. I mean, because the blue light shit ain't healthy. We know that. We know staring at 6 inches in front of your face all the time, you're going to have some effects. You know what I mean? And then if you're watching a bunch of shit that stresses you out or dealing with a bunch of drama and shit, that's going to add to it. So it's literally like a fucking, what do they call it? Triage effect or shit. You know what I mean? Where it's all working together. Not triage effect.
Someone bleeding? Like, what do you mean?
No, I'm trying to think of the
triple effect, Trinity effect.
No, it's like where they all work together. I forgot the fucking word. Shit. I don't know. It don't matter.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, not synchronicity, but it'll come to me like after I'm off the phone later. It'll be like, oh, there it is. Damn. Where they work synergistically together, basically, to, all kind of playing off of each other.
Yeah.
But man,
butterfly effect, that goes into that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That was one thing I had my little bullet points in my notes.
Oh, about the ripples in the pond type stuff.
Well, we're talking about manifestation. I think that a lot of people think that they can just. A lot of people don't understand the idea of creating your own reality through manifestation. They think it's just like I have this vision and they can do whatever they want and like it. You have to understand the concept of the entire timeline and space-time continuum and all this shit that goes into it. And like, you might be able to manifest some shit now, but you better manifest wisely, because what you manifest now could fuck something up later down the road.
Right.
So you have to be thinking about everything. It's not. That's why I feel like a lot of people don't have access to that power. They're not tapped into that part of their brain because they're not ready for it. They're not. They're gonna manifest. They're gonna use that power and fuck up unintentionally, and it's gonna have bad effects. So it's like,
I'm aware
like some people are cut off from it for a reason. Yeah. So like, when I first learned about it, dude, I fucked up. I like, you know what I mean? And now I'm very, very, very strict with myself on that shit, bro. Like, it's crazy. I'm gotten to where like I can police my thoughts pretty well, even when I get mad. Instead of like, it used to be like, okay, I'm not gonna be like, fuck you, motherfucker, like say some fucked up shit. I don't think I ever told anybody I hope you crash, but something like that. You know what I mean?
It comes back to mirror shit, man.
Yeah, exactly. And then I mean, and now like, so like I got where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say that and speak it into existence. And then I was like, well, hold on, thoughts got power too. So like, it's crazy because it's like you're not able to fully manifest things and use that power to its full potential until you're able to handle it and do it right. Because if you don't have the foresight to see that something that you manifest today could completely fuck your life up 10 years down the road, then you shouldn't have access to that part of your brain.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
the situation I'm in, like I'm able to see shit so clearly that I manifest things where I'm at, like even the bad shit, like problems that with marriage and things like that. Like I literally, you spend so much energy, like, well, if I was this, I wouldn't take this shit. If if I was single, I'd do that. You know what I mean? Like you have all
Right.
these things that and you're giving energy to it. You know what I mean? So eventually, it all comes to a head. And it's like you literally create the outcome of the thing, whether you know it or not, whether you're aware of it in that moment or not. And I'm thankful I'm able to have the ability to see shit, because a lot of people go through life like just always a victim of that circumstance and not realizing that they're literally creating their fucking reality with it. And when you're aware of it, like you said, being able to kind of police it a little bit more and not let it run wild, because I'm so hyper aware of it that as soon as bad thoughts come in, to me it's like transmute it, because I don't want to give it any energy, because I feel like I know I'll start seeing it around. If you think about a red car, all of a sudden you're gonna see a red fucking
Dude,
car everywhere. It's the
that
same thing.
shit's so crazy.
Yeah.
And like I'm very well aware of it. So like it's not even like I, buy a new vehicle and start seeing them everywhere. I just laugh. I'm like, ha, oh, there it is again.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? But like it's crazy when you point it out to other people who don't notice it as much. And like you notice this, and then they start noticing. You watch them go through the same shit.
Right.
What the fuck? Like, yep.
Yeah, exactly. You're on that frequency, and you're able to,
It's crazy when you are on. I always heard like being on the same wavelength and the same frequency and shit. And like there's certain experiences I've had where that was definitely the case, especially with my old lady, bro. Like, and that's a lot more understandable. But what I've learned recently through doing all this internet shit is that there's a lot of people on the same wavelength and same frequency halfway across the country. And it's fucking insane to me, bro. Like, you're one of them. Like a lot of times, like it's happened tonight on this show where we're about to say the same fucking thing.
Right.
We're thinking the same thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And there's other people too, dude, that like, there's some, I'm not going to get on here and fucking say names on some clout chasing shit, but like there's some bigger, more well-known people that like, I already kind of had that feeling just from seeing how they move, how they talk and all that shit. And then you get to know them a little bit more on a personal level. And you're like, oh, fuck, dude. Like we're literally on the same wavelength.
The tribe attracts the tribe, man.
Dude, the more people that I meet and interact with on a deeper level, not just like 5-10 minute conversations. Like that's why I like doing like the podcast thing, because it's like you sit down with someone for 3 hours and you're not going to know everything about them. And yes, they can still put on a front and all this other shit, but you're going to learn a lot about their character and who they are if you know if you're able to see that shit. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, dude. It's just crazy because the more I do it, the more people I discover are literally like fucking on the same frequency as me, bro. And it's insane. That's why I named this Higher Harmonics.
I like it.
I mean, it's like,
it's all music, man. And harmonics are manifesting the world around us. Literally the frequency that we're set to you're gonna see. If you're on a low vibration, you're gonna attract low vibration things. If you're on a higher vibration, you're gonna draw people to you that are meant to be on your path. And that's the thing. We're a lot of times we can let a negativity block us from all these different things. Like people that you might walk past, people that you would have met that day that
you're stay in the way of your own blessings.
Yeah, exactly. Because
I've been learning about that one.
Yep, I've done it. I mean, I know I've blocked blessings and shit, man. And that's why I try to be. I don't want to be like obsessive, but I try to be pretty aware of where my mind goes. And like sometimes it is a little bit obsessive because I'll start thinking. But I look at it like transmutation, even if it's like an impulsive thought or a bad thought. Which I think we can go into that too, as far as projection of things and energies around us and being susceptible to things.
Fucked me up, dog.
So I figured you already know.
So you said intrusive thoughts, and I was about to tell you my method for that, and then you said projection.
Transmutation.
I want to let you. Maybe I should tell you mine first before you go deeper. So
go ahead.
Right, so intrusive thoughts, bro. So I believe in like energies and like I said, like the force, but I still believe in God too. So I've learned over time that the two are the same, where God is giving me the ability to use energies and in essence, it might sound crazy, but create a protective bubble. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not, bro, I'm not fucking,
Do you
Yes.
visualize it? You already
Yes.
know. All right.
So I'm not shitting you one bit. If my baby, most of the time she sleeps in our room, but if for some reason like she falls asleep in her crib out in the living room or something like that, whatever the fuck, I'm not kidding you, bro. I walk up over her just like it's some Star Wars shit, bro, and fucking
You already know, man.
protective bubble, bro, and like
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Well, the
And
Bible even
the
speaks
the
on that,
thing,
bro. The laying of hands, the prayer hands, and I mean, you're literally there's so much. You know, your fingernails, if when they do that energy meter where they're reading the, where they can see the biofield that you give off, your
yeah,
hands give off
your
so much more.
magnetic
It's
field,
literally like vibrant. Your fingernails,
bro.
and that's why all these women. That's why they push all the nail polish and shit because it blocks the healing. All these
I
different
remember
chemicals
when
and
I was a
shit.
little kid all the
Dude,
time, and sometimes it still happens now. Actually, it's going on right now. It's really weird. But if I look at my hand, I remember all the time when I was a little kid looking at my hand and I could like see an aura around my hand.
right?
And I've also had experiences where like fucking
Get your hype, man.
I'm trying to think like okay, like if I grab my mic, it'd be crazy if it happened right now. Okay, it didn't happen. Certain shit like that. I've like grabbed the mic at a show and shit with one hand, and it's got like a slight buzz, and then grab it with the other hand, which is my less dominant hand, and it doesn't.
Huh.
Weird shit like that. So
Giving
like
out
I
the
believe that shit,
energetic
but it's how did I get onto the projecting bubble thing? Oh yeah, so
stuff.
like
The hands on the
so that's what I do with intrusive thoughts. So like that shit I learned is you can't. It's not just about like okay, I'm gonna put a protective bubble around me, my family,
right.
my kids, something like that. I do that shit in my head, bro. If I have an intrusive thought, it's like a visual mechanism in my head that I instantly recognize it as an intrusive thought, form a fucking force bubble around it,
Yeah.
and chuck that bitch out of my head, and then
I
fucking
even
put a
toss my
bubble,
head, dude. I even
put a
that's
bubble around my brain, and I'm like, all right, there we go, and go about. And I'm telling you, it fucking works, bro. I can go from an intrusive thought to the next second forgetting what the intrusive thought was, and not even like I'm on to like say I'm doing something and had that thought, and then next second I'm just like, what I stop for, and just keep doing what I'm doing.
that's
Like it
crazy, bro.
never happened.
Literally,
Like that shit works, dude, for real.
before you move on, when you were talking about toss it aside and shit, I literally
Chuck
visualize
that
it in
bitch
my
in the
head.
ocean.
I draw an X through it, and I fucking like I toss it to the left. You know what I mean? I'm like throw
Yeah,
it out, and then I visualize like the transmuted thought. The better, more optimistic, whatever it is that the thought is. It's like the opposite of it. Of the
yep, yep.
if it's a
I
dark
got you.
thought, I think about it in a light. In a light's version
Yeah.
of it. And
I
dude, it's
used to do
crazy.
I used to visualize building a brick wall, and then I had something it was actually really crazy, bro. It was like a mental battle, and I feel like that's the kind of things that like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of people when they're going through that, they get on and vocalize it and all that shit, and then it's like you
Right,
look mentally ill and you don't get the proper help, and it just goes downhill and escalates from there. Whereas like I'm the kind of
right.
person that I deal with it, talk about it later. So
Yeah.
like it was weird
Let's
though,
face
because
it.
like I remember doing I used to always be like, all right, chuck this out of my head and build a brick wall around, you know what I mean? And there was one time where I did that, and it was like the system that always worked. Built the brick wall, went to go walk away, and I was like, and
Damn.
that's also part of what brought me back to God and spirituality because
Right.
I realized I'm building a brick wall. That's like a human representation in my head, and I need that
Mm,
fucking force field. I need to be able to tap into that fucking energy and
right.
use that bubble. You know what I mean?
See, I
So
picture a
it
white
was like
cloud of
it all
protection.
come together in one. But yeah, for me,
That
it's like a transparent bubble.
that's cool.
Is
Yeah,
what
see,
how
it's
I
same thing.
visualize it.
I picture a white layer of protection, like a almost like a cloud that encapsulates them. Like
Yeah,
this
it's
like
almost
mystic
like
fog
mine
that
is
kind of
almost like a transparent bubble that kind of shimmers. You know what I mean? A little
yeah.
bit. Like it's weird, bro, but I can see it perfectly and it works every time. It's insane.
Same. Yeah, I know. We're on the same wavelength with it, but
And I've
yours
went
is the
into
fourth, mine's the white smoke.
right. I've went into places before where like you sense the dark energy and shit like that,
Oh,
and
yeah.
sometimes like it's something where you ain't got the option to leave. And bro, I'm telling you, like it's a hold on, I need to go have a cigarette, make a phone call or something real quick, step out, do my own thing, and step back in, and then I'm like indifferent to it. I'm walking
Yeah.
around like, wow, this is wild. I'm glad none of this is affecting me. Like it's
The
crazy as
powers
fuck.
and principalities. That's
Hmm.
same thing. It's the energy. Why you think Chicago is from back from Capone days to what things that are going now. That's the spirit. That's the power and
Well,
principality that is each city, like New Orleans, Chicago. They all have
and
their own
people are
spirit.
as the
Nashville.
veil is lifting, people are more susceptible to that, and that's
Yeah.
the upside and downside. Is a lot of empaths that don't know any better are getting mentally fucked up because they
Right.
don't know how to properly protect themselves from that shit. But
Yeah.
then you have other empaths who know how to stop that absorption of energy. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm at, bro. Like I absorb people's energy like a motherfucker, but only if I want to. It's
Right.
basically like my defense mechanism is always up. And then once I'm around you and I get a feel for you, I'm like, okay, then it's like I'll allow that absorption energy so I can understand you better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
It's,
you got to guard it these days, man. I mean,
yeah, bro.
energy.
Because I used to be the motherfucker that like I walk into a room full of pissed off people, happy as fuck, and next thing you know, I'm fighting
You're
everybody
pissed.
in the room. I
Yeah.
don't even know why. I'm just pissed as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like, yeah, dude. Once I learned what it was and how to regulate the access to that, it's basically like it's all on me. It's like whether I'm absorbing those frequencies or not.
Yeah.
So I basically got my mind and my aura to a point where I never absorb those frequencies subconsciously. That's the best way to
Heck
put it.
yeah.
So it's
Right.
always an active thing. Like when, for example, I know he won't mind me using him, Smo. When I went to go meet Smo, you know, I'd interacted with him a shit ton on the internet. I'd talk to him like almost daily, bro. Like we're
Right.
bros, you know, but it's still the first time meeting him physically in person where you're going to actually feel their true energy and their vibe. You know,
Right.
I mean, most of it you can pick up through a screen, but there's still, you know, there's
Yeah.
people out there that are really good at putting on for the screen, and you know what I mean?
Right.
And fucking yeah, bro, it's like when I first met Smo, it was like that shit was automatically up. And then after
Sense the vibe.
15 minutes of chilling with him, it's not like I sit here and I'm like, okay, well, Smo's cool, so we can let down the
No, it's
shield
just the
and
vibe. The
start
vibe.
absorbing his energy. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just that part I think is subconscious. I think that part is, so instead of subconsciously absorbing energy, I now subconsciously detect whether I should allow that or not. Because I don't
Just
think
think
about it at
about
all,
it.
but I remember like when I got there and like I didn't feel uncomfortable or anything like that. I was a little tired. There was no bad vibes or weird vibes at all. If anything, it was good, but it
Yeah, you
wasn't
feel that right away.
it wasn't as
Something in
connected. And I don't know how to explain it, you know what I mean? And when I first got there, you know what I mean, it was cool. Everything was straight, but then like
Right.
after about 15 minutes, it was like I was chilling with someone I'd known for 20 fucking years.
Right.
And it was like a whole different thing. And that's where that
Once the
absorption
energy,
energy comes in.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
energy
crazy
up.
as hell, man.
No, I'm the same thing, man. There's people that you meet that you feel like you've known your whole life just because it's like the second you start talking to them, it's like, oh, you're just on the, you can't explain it. You're just on the same
Yep.
frequency, same wavelength. And other
I've
people
had people too that I've met on the internet, a lot of them actually, that like you meet them on the internet and they're like, "Ma, I fuck with this dude. The first time we hang out in person, like it's gonna be a
right,
wrap. It's gonna be my homie." You know
you
what I
meet
mean?
them and
And
no.
then no, opposite, bro.
Right.
Like for example, like Wisco Sin, he's one of them. One of my co-hosts on the show, and
Yeah.
he's bro. I mean, Killdozer, same way,
Yeah.
bro. I knew like me and Killdozer cut from the same cloth on the same fucking wavelength. And then
Right.
when I met him in person, it just verified all of it. I was
Hell
like, yep,
yeah.
I was right about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so there's a lot that happens a lot. And now it's to where like when I recognize that in someone, I'm like, damn, bro, like when you trying to kick it and smoke a joint, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because I
Yeah.
always, it's like once we kick it, bro, we about to be on the same fucking page for real. Like,
Right. Yeah, same thing, man. I've been fortunate that everybody that I've met from online, it's literally this, you know, same. The vibe
yeah.
has been
Well,
legit, you know. But I've
I
wondered
haven't,
about that
but
too, the whole like catfish thing of, you know, how many people
bro,
are completely not
I'm
what
sure
they.
you know, and I'm not gonna give him any publicity or get into any drama, but you know, certain person that was on there and shit, and he was removed from the team a little bit later after I met him, but all the red flags went up then. There had been like minor red flags before that, but then I met him in person, and I was like, just dude's energy and how he carried himself. I was like,
Oh wow.
and then I ended up being right, and I was like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I ain't trying to talk about all that shit on this show. You know what I mean? We're into deeper, more
Higher,
enlightening subject. Yeah,
yeah.
higher
Higher.
harmonics.
That's right, man. That's right. But yeah, man.
But
I mean, energy is literally like once you're aware of it, you base pretty much everything off of it because people can lie to you in the surface, you know, but the energy doesn't lie. Like the energy it speaks way
even
louder than the words do. You can sit there and paint this most beautiful
facts.
picture, but the
Doesn't
energy
matter
will
what
come
you
out.
fucking
Yeah,
say to me, bro. It doesn't. If
right,
I'm standing face to face with you, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
right,
It's coming out of your mouth because that's not what I'm reading. I mean, yes,
exactly.
if we're having a
Tuned
good
in to it.
conversation, that's different. But if you're saying something and I'm getting a vibe that what you're saying is bullshit, I've done tuned out your words and I'm looking at your body language and everything
Right.
else. And that was another thing too, when like, 5 years ago, I used to be like, I could read motherfuckers perfectly. Like, and I always have a good sense of intuition. So it always was that energy was part of it, but I wasn't as in tune with it.
Yeah.
And then I would always attribute it to like body language and shit. Well, there are some people who are professionals at faking body
Right.
language and faking facial expressions and doing all this shit to where sitting in front of a
Sociopaths.
camera like this, you look at him and you're like, damn, that dude's cool. You would never fucking know. But the
Right.
second you step in a room with them, you're like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
the
fucking
energy
wild, bro.
doesn't lie,
That
man.
the
It
shit
doesn't
don't
lie.
lie, yeah.
But you
Like
can,
body,
I feel like
words, everybody knows words lie. Everybody knows, shit like
Right.
that. Smiles lie, but like body language, a lot of people, I know people personally that are like, I can tell instantly if someone's on some bullshit by their body language. And I'm sitting over here like, you might be able to tell instantly, but if you can tell instantly, it's their energy and you haven't
it's the
realized
energy.
that yet.
Yeah.
So
Because
yeah, like you
literally
think
once
it's their body language, but really you're picking up something else, dog. Like keep
Right.
going.
Because once you tune your energy to that, to be able, like, you can't, it's the same thing with like being awake and being asleep. You can't go back to sleep once you're awake. Like once you're, and even when I was
Disruption of
unconscious,
energy.
yeah, even when I was unconscious and in the streets and on drugs and shit, like I wasn't aware. I didn't call it the energy or reading the, you know what I mean? But I
Right.
could walk into a room and know who the fucking one that was going to be a problem is, or, who is the like the dark, you know what I mean? The dark energy or dark force there. But I didn't put it in those words at that time. It was just like, nah, the vibe's off here, or I have a feeling about this, a feeling about that. And I've always been one that has been pretty in tune with my gut instinct. Like I've gotten out of cars before, and told people, hey, don't go, and they go and get in a wreck, and all this shit happens. I mean, I've had so many
I don't
situations.
even question my gut anymore, bro.
Right,
And like I
same.
thought I quit questioning my gut, and then I had a recent situation within the last couple months where like I knew I wasn't
Right.
questioning my gut. I knew what my gut was telling me, but I was over here like, well, there's this and this justification for it. So maybe, my gut is overreact. Whatever the fuck. I don't even know
Yeah,
how I justify it. And the
excited.
whole time I fucking knew, and then the end result, I was like, I fucking knew the whole time. I don't even know what the fuck I was saying.
And then you're only kicking yourself in the ass
Yeah.
because you knew that you knew in the first place, and you just ignored it anyway. So yeah, same. It's like the and you can't untune yourself out of it. Like it shit is, it's its own language. You know what I mean? Like the energy is its own language before anybody even says a word.
Yeah, man. Shit's crazy. A lot of people
Yeah.
aren't even in tune with that. What do you know about we're getting close to the end here, but what do you know about long hair and energies in Native
Dude, did you
Americans?
see the fucking thing with the Marines, or was it the Army or Marines with the guys,
Vietnam.
the Native Americans that
They
they
sent them over there, cut
yeah,
their
and they
hair,
cut
put
their
them back
hair.
out. They all died.
Yeah, and the fact that it's an extension of your
So
nervous system, and like your hair stands up on end when you have a feeling about shit, or when something gives you chills, it's like
I
shit. It's
discovered
not
all
that good.
that in July of 2015, and I have not even trimmed a single fucking little end off of my hair. I trimmed my beard, which I mean, it's like
Right.
that's the one that I'm like, I'm not looking like a caveman everywhere. I'll deal with that part, but I'm telling you, bro. And like when I did the research into it, basically it was like it takes you 3 years to come back to get that sense back and everything
Really?
after
3
your last
years?
haircut. Yep. So I remember getting to a point of like 2.5 years where it was long and annoying. And I was like, this is stupid. You know what I mean? Like I'm about to cut this shit, and whatever
Right.
higher power, whatever the fuck made me power through it. I remember it was subtle. It's not like I woke up one day and was like, I can sense everything around me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was like a subtle thing where like I started noticing and picking up on energies a lot more. I was way more sensitive to it. And I looked into this too. It's also why Buddhist monks shave their head, because they're trying to look within and not be sensitive to the energies around them. They want
See,
to
the
cut that
same
off.
reason that
So
military and prison make you shave your head, because they
exactly,
don't
it had to
want you
do. That's why
disconnected.
the Romans always shaved their slaves' heads and all that shit, and then Romans ended up having short hair later on because the emperor wanted to enslave them.
Damn,
But that's a whole other story. But
I didn't
so
realize
I
that.
learned all that shit, bro, and they I'm telling you, like it was like a subtle difference at first, and then it got to where it was very overpowering, and that's where I'm at now. I've just never lost it since then.
Hell
But
yeah.
I would tell people about it, and my ex-wife, her stepdad was a Marine, and we moved down to Florida, and like every time I was around him and shit, bro, he'd like try to hide and jump out, like just fucking with me because he thought it was funny. And I was like, I said it was Marines, it was Native American Marines that they did tests on, bro. Like you
Right.
should know your own Marine history. And
Right.
fucking, he's like, oh yeah, you all this other shit. So every single time, bro, I'd catch him before he could like jump out. You know what I mean? I'd like turn around, he'd be behind me, come around a corner, and be like, oh, I knew you were there. And he would always have an excuse and be like, you heard my knee crack or my hand stuck
Yeah.
out, something like that. You know what I mean? Like there was always
Right.
something. So then one day we're out in the ocean at what's that beach called? Ponte Vedra Beach.
Where?
No, not Ponte Vedra. What the fuck was that one called?
Where's that at? Florida?
Hannah Beach. Yeah, just north of Jacksonville.
Okay.
Right in between Jacksonville and Georgia. And there's high surf, but it was like no rip tides and all that shit. You know what I mean? We looked at the little fucking thing.
Right.
And so I'm out there with like a boogie board and like these waves that are just pummeling my ass. Like a kid would have died. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I was getting knocked on my ass underneath by the waves and just standing back up laughing. I was having it because I'm in water that's only this deep. So it's not like I can't stand back up.
Right.
But it was still, you know what I mean? There's no way I can hear anything, know anything, see anything going on around me, nothing. And in all honesty, it's not like it's not like I got eyes in the back of my head and it's sensory where I'm like, you know, so and so is standing behind me 5 feet away. It's
right.
So when this happened, this is what made him believe me. He never tried it again too. I honestly thought it was a shark. I just sensed danger behind me. I need to turn around now. And in my head, as I started thinking about it while I'm turning around, I'm like, fuck, there's a shark behind me. What do I do? Like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I turn around and see him standing there 10 feet away with the blankest fucking look on his face. And I started laughing. He's like, well, there's no way you heard me coming that time. It was like, because I just got took out by a wave, was underwater, stood up with my back to him, and then just spun around real fast.
Damn.
And he was like, yeah. And after, bro, he never questioned me after that. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm telling you. And like, that's why, bro, like this shit's annoying as fuck. I honestly don't like having long hair, but hey, I'm not losing that shit up. Yeah, bro, if it's not braided, it goes down to like my lower back.
I didn't realize until the picture on your Harley where you had it. And I was like, yeah, man, he got a fucking shit all the way down to his it's
Indian
long,
hair, bro.
Man. That's what's up, dude. Because every time I've grown mine out, it gets down to about here, and then I end up fucking cutting it. You know,
that's where you fuck up. That's that annoying phase. I remember hitting that phase, dude. That's what I tell everybody. Like, I remember, like, for real, contemplating it. I think, like, I even called a buddy that cut hair, and you know, I mean, he's like a barber and shit,
right?
And was like I had like a point. I don't even remember, dude. I just remember like being serious about cutting it because it was annoying as fuck, hot as shit in the summer, couldn't stand it. And
sticking to your
something made me power past it, and then it was right after that I started noticing a difference, and now it's like such a drastic. Like I remember what it felt like before,
right?
Still, it's not like you know how like when you're tripping on acid or something, like you'll have a crazy enlightening experience, and then the next day you're like, well, I know I had a crazy enlightening experience that completely revolutionized my mind, but what was it?
What was it? Oh, yeah,
it's not like that. It's like it's almost like my brain retained that on purpose because I can remember exactly that dull. I can remember my ability to sense energies before I got that back from growing my hair out. And I can feel it when I think about it and remember it. So it's like I can visualize pretty much what's going to happen if I cut my hair and what I'm going to lose. And it's just like, I've been offered lots of money. Like I've had people, because it's become
offer you money to cut it.
It's such a thing. So like people who know me and shit, like to me, it's not part of my personality. I forget about it on camera. A lot of people don't know I have it because I keep it back. You know what I mean? So it's like to other people looking at me from the outside, it's part of my personality. For me, it's not. Like I've had promoters and shit be like, you need to untie your hair and have it down in the front and make that part of your brand. I'm like, no. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. And fucking it's gotten to where like it's a thing where like it's a challenge almost, and everybody knows how strongly I feel about not cutting it. So like I've had people like I've been offered $1,000 to cut my hair on camera before.
Damn, well, it's a test of resolve right there. No, I ain't
resilience,
taking
dog.
Yeah, exactly. If you know where you stand, you won't be swayed, man. Because and you know that what comes with it. Yeah, it's $1,000, but then you lose that you know what took you years to get. Not the hair.
I had someone that I didn't know that saw that you know, a bigger artist pretty much. I didn't know they saw that, and then we're having a conversation later down the road after I connected with them. And he's like, honestly, I knew that I fucked with you when someone offered you $1,000 to cut your hair after you told the principals of why you didn't cut it, and you stood on
Right.
your principles and said
Hell
$1
yeah.
million and said I wouldn't cut my hair for $1 million right now. And he's like,
Right.
that's when I knew I fucked with you, because that's someone that stands on their principles no
Oh,
matter
yeah.
what. And I was like, I don't look at it as like I'm doing some valiant, glorious thing and standing on principles. I look at it as I'm a stubborn son of a bitch, and I know what I believe. And it's like, you want to try to cut my hair, I'm gonna fuck you up, because I look at that the same as you trying to shoot me.
Well,
You know what I mean?
look at it like this too, because if you're willing to do something for money that you wouldn't do for free, what's the definition of selling your soul, or selling your
What's
soul
your
is doing
price? At
something that
that
goes,
point,
goes against your
it's
belief.
just whatever your price is, because at
Yeah.
that point you can be bought. And once you can be bought, you can sit there and say, well, I wouldn't do that for
Right.
$5,000. That's fucked up.
When
Well,
people watch you get bought for $1,000.
yeah, until someone comes up to you with 5 million. And now,
Right.
if it's not a principle that you're absolute on and that you're unmoving on and willing to
Exactly.
stand up no matter what, you're not fucking swaying on this principle. If you don't have that kind of resolve, bro, then it's
Right.
really just about what your price is to break your facade of principles.
Yep.
At that point,
A man that stands for nothing falls for anything. That's a
Yep.
power. It's not just the surface of it. It's
for anything. Hell yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that's one of my like big sayings is, because I hold true to that. I feel like if you're going to do something for whatever it is, some kind of gain that you wouldn't do for, just to do, then you're going against everything you stand for. You're going against your soul. You're going against your spirit, and you got to, especially this day and age where they're buying up people left and right, from people on the internet for steering agendas, for fucking artists trying to steer, and if you're gonna do something for some stupid gain, well then of course you're gonna do something for some, for some big gain, selling your soul for fame and wealth and all this shit.
And a lot of those darker forces, darker people, whatever, they'll try to, okay, well, you can't be bought directly with money, and they'll try to make it about providing for I've had that happen a lot, bro.
For your family,
your kids, and providing. Yeah. You can make a better life for your kids. Like, I understand that you don't want to sign a record deal. That's one that, I'm just going to go out and say it. Like, that's one that I had that conversation. But you got to think about your kids. Think about how much better your kid's life would be tomorrow if you did this, all this shit. And I'm not going to lie, I thought about it. But at the same time, I'm so resolved on that shit. And that's not even to say that I wouldn't sign a record deal. I'm so resolved on, I'll never sign a record deal where I release my masters, or basically I don't feel like I'm like they're getting more than me and like leeching off me. You know what I mean? Like, if like, let's say, I'm not even gonna name names, certain people that are more trustworthy with that shit were to come forward and be like, I'll give you a fucking 80-20, you keep your master, some shit like that makes sense.
You got to say so over what.
Yeah, but 95% of them are like, I'm gonna give you 10% of your shit, and we own all your shit and own you and tell you what to do. Like, I don't care. You can give me $5 million. I'm not signing that contract.
Right.
Period.
Same.
I don't. Exactly. It's not fucking happening.
Maybe a project or a certain thing for this many.
No, because that's where they get you. I won't do it.
What the distribution shit?
Distribution is different. I thought you meant like a one album record deal. I've seen people get fucked up with those, because what they do is they make it so they can't finish the album, and then they shelve them for not willing to do more.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. See,
so they'll come in and be like, they'll come in and say, well, you don't have to be locked in. You're not locked in with us for life. You can do whatever you want after that. You just give us one album, 15 songs, and then they give you money for the album and all this shit, and then you end up out of money or something like that. Or one that I've seen them do with a particular artist, I'm not gonna name shit and get them in trouble, but they gave him this one album deal. He went in, recorded like 20 something songs for like a 15 song album, and they said that they didn't like any of them but 3, and that wasn't what they signed him for. They had him record like 20 more songs. So now he's got like 40 something songs that these guys have the masters to, that they own the rights to.
Oh, wow. So they're taking those anyway, even though they're not counting them?
Matter what, they own the rights to it. But if they release it, now, if they don't release it within the whatever the contract there is, so it's like you get this percent of royalties for 10 years, whatever, they don't have to. But what they can then do too is take the song, play with it, or steal the lyrics and put it to something else, all this other shit. So what they'll do, so now what happened to him, now he's got 40 recorded songs. They say only 10 are acceptable to put on the album that they're sponsoring, and that pretty much killed the deal. They told me he had to fund more out of his pocket. So now he's under contract for this album that's unfulfilled, and he legally can't make and release any other music until he fulfills this contract.
fuck
But
that.
they won't let him fulfill the contract.
Fuck
So, you know what I
that.
mean? So that's how they
now
shelve
you're
people.
stuck.
And what it was is he's very, very, very fucking talented, and he was going to be a big threat. And when he first went in there and did this, I was like, don't do that. Don't do that, bro. I was like, they know what you got. They know. Like, I was like, you're going to surpass everybody, and fucking now he's dealing with legal troubles from trying to get out from under that just so he can release his own music independently.
Fuck that. Yeah, then you're literally a prisoner.
Because, well, he said fuck it and went and released some shit on, I think it was on YouTube, actually.
And then they sue him or something.
They sent him a cease and desist, told him take it down. And he was like, what the fuck? And then he talked to a lawyer, and they were like, unfortunately, you got to take it down until we figure this out.
He could just pull a Kanye.
Flip out and not give a fuck. Yeah. That's why Kanye did that. He was like, you know what? I want out of this record deal. Hold on real quick. Hey, drop me a swastika on some shirts real quick.
He even said that. He said, he goes, there was a thing where he was like, well, look, who else do you know that got out of a multi-billion-dollar deal without, absolved himself of his contract? You know what I mean? Without whatever. And he was like,
yeah, I've had that thought before, like all this shit going on. I'm like, I'm wondering if Church is just trying to get all the record labels to leave him alone.
I'm fucking crazy. Fuck off.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I'm just like nobody wants to fuck with me. Like when he did the fucking shit on the guitar and everything, everybody's freaking out. I'm like, well, he ain't probably gonna get any more calls from the record labels, so maybe that's what he wanted. Like
it's the same thing with the double. It serves multiple purposes.
Right.
Hey man.
Yeah, you weed out all the fake people that are like, yeah, riding with you for life, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, I can't ride with that though, like all this other shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you fucking get the record labels, quit calling, you give, you know what I mean? Like, I could see it.
Man. Yeah,
I'm not gonna act like I know, but that's definitely, you know what I mean, a good theory.
There's always methods to madness, like I look at everything I do as like there's everything that has something that's driving it. Fuck, man, we're both drawing blanks all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think we're about at that end point anyways, you know what I mean? That was pretty much, we're getting to that point, so. Yeah, man, I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you joining me for that first episode. Now that obviously means it's meant to be, plus, it is what it is, but that was a great first episode, bro. Definitely going to have you on again. Hell yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
Let me know next time, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Definitely, man. Have a good one.